Okay, 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 all right, okay. Just this once, just this once, I'll accept it. I'll take my porridge. What's the phrase? I'll accept my What's the phrase? Come on, when you recognize your, come on. There's a phrase for this. Sorry, I overslept. Sorry, I slept. I slept. I slept past the alarm. I'm very sorry. Hello. All right. Are the lighting settings correct? Probably not. Let's. Is that better? Yeah, it's probably better. Okay. Whew. All right. Whew. Okay. All right. We're back at it. Whew. Okay. Oh, I didn't even get to drink my coffee. I overslept a little bit. I was a sleepy boy. Okay. Stream fine. Marco, we good? Let's. There we go. There we go. Get everyone on task. There we go. There we go. See, when people are saying polo, you can't read. Well, some of you can. Okay. You sleep in until 11? What? I shower. What do you mean? I wake up, I shower, I do lotion. You have to moisturize. I have a little bit of food. I got a protein bar right here. Oh, hold on. All right. Hold on. Why do we have nearly 4,000 people watching 6 minutes into the stream? That's kind of fucking weird. What the fuck are you guys doing? Hmm. Hmm. Hold on. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Sorry. I was doing everything as quick as I could, and I had to finish cycling the laundry. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Whew. All right. We're back at it. We're back at it. Okay. Whew. What a wacky world to live in, folks. There is so much shit for us to talk about. It's actually astonishing, and I'm going to get through it as quickly as I can, but something tells me that I'm going to miss a few things. Whew. All right, man, where to begin? So, first of all, did another TikTok of yours blow up? Not to my knowledge, but speaking of TikTok, so, much to the chagrin of some of my wonderful viewers, that's every single one of you, Nick Videos will no longer be debating me. Very, very, very sorry. Very, very, very sorry. Nick Videos, the conservative, he doesn't like that term, classical liberal, TikTok political superstar, has backed out. Now, actually, this is not as much of a problem as you might think. Apparently, Nick Videos has recently hung up the MAGA hat. Credit where credit is due. Nick Videos has recently dropped support of Trump and seems to be taking a break from political content for a little bit. Which, if I've got my watch dialed correctly, sounds to me like maybe some political opinions might change in the near future. Now, of course, that's up to him. No big. I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing, of course. But on the whole, I'm okay with this. I think it's all right. Because one of the biggest things that I was going to hammer, Nick Videos on was going to be his support of Trump. Because if you consider yourself a classical liberal, you cannot be a Trump supporter. This is something, we all know this, I think, from the Sargon of Akkad arc, back before Sargon basically just openly admitted to being a white nationalist. But a classical liberal, I mean, this is back to the days practically of antiquity. We're talking about, like, you know, Adam Smith. The basic gist of the classical liberal, it was kind of like the precursor to the modern right libertarian. Minimal government interference, like no borders, basically, so you can have the maximum exchange of capital and resources and labor across borders to maximize market efficiency. Basically, all of society is deferred to two things: market freedoms and individual rights. Now, what this does usually mean is that you don't have like a very strong welfare state, or one at all. You don't tend to have like a very strong involvement in the life of the individual from like larger institutions, which can be a good thing in some cases, like the police or the military, and a bad thing in other cases, like investment in impoverished neighborhoods. Essentially, just think of it as a precursor to right libertarianism, and none of those beliefs gel with the President Trump at all. There is the gap between these. Oh, Adam Smith did believe in a strong welfare state, but everyone misquotes him, so nobody cares. The gap. He also advocated for worker co-ops, by the way. Listen, I'm just following in the intellectual tradition of my forefathers. Okay. Anyway, he did. No, he did, seriously. The forefathers he called landlords leeches. That's true. The forefathers of capitalism, as we know it, would be disgusted with the way that it is manifested today. But anyway, this is completely incompatible with President Trump. President Trump, who is anti-free speech, threatening to crack down on libel laws, threatening to deport or revoke the citizenship of people who burn the flag. Breaking up peaceful protests, an exertion of military might. There's just no way to be a classical liberal and be a Trump supporter. So I was going to hammer Nick pretty hard on that, and now Nick is taken away. Bold move, Nick. 9,000 IQ move. You have taken away my my trump card, so to speak. If we were to debate. So well done, Joseph Joestar. You have successfully seen what I was going to say next. And well done. I respect it. I do respect it. I don't want anyone bothering Nick Videos over it. Now, we are not done with TikTok. Not by any measure. Not by any means or measure, okay? We are just beginning on that platform. That conservative hype house, or I think is it the conservative hype house, the Republican hype house? It's one of them, has 1 million followers on TikTok. That's an unacceptable number of followers. I am personally offended by the amount of support that channel has seen. So we are going to make an active effort to murder TikTok. We will do it, and it will be xenophobic, because is TikTok not owned by that gigantic Chinese corporation? No, possibly. So we'll make the tankies mad too. You know how it is. We'll enrage everyone with our praxis, and I look forward to it. I do, because the thing, Tencent. That's it. Tencent. That's the name. Thank you. The thing that I care about more than anything else, there are so many political interlocutors, and I feel like there are so many different points in the spectrum, and I feel like I'm trying to be very holistic about this. My goal is always going to be to bring as many people over to my side as possible. I have a political agenda. I'm very biased, I openly admit this. I'm not some neutral, arbiter of truth who, blindly pursues what. No. I care very much, about socialism and progressivism and egalitarianism and intersectional analysis, and I want other people to care about these things too. And in part of that is me being able to reach out to these other platforms. Part of that is me being able to meet people where they are, And I think I really want to do that, because so far in my brief engagement with the TikTok community, I have seen a lot of cringe, but also earnest and sincere political interest, you know? And that's really, really nice. Because a lot of these, because it's mostly younger people in that app, you know? They're very easy to idolize, if that makes any sense. Like, they'll very quickly find these like groups or leaders or figures to defer to. And that can be a very dangerous tendency, because if they find a sufficiently snarky Ben Shapiro impersonator, then maybe they'll lean that way. And you know, it's it's a volatile political situation. So hopefully I can reach out a little bit there. I can expose them to my big brain ideas. Our big brain ideas. I know many of you agree with me on many things. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. But the goal will not be to get them to idolize me, because I'm a fucking idiot. I make mistakes constantly. Presently, right now, I can think of 3 things I'm doing wrong. Bet you can't spot all 3. Idolizing me is not the solution, okay? But getting involved in the mechanisms which help people arrive at better political decisions, that is what matters at the end. That's the most important part. So that was my little opening. That was my little opening bit to the TikTokers. You know, I had the funniest experience. We're off the YouTube segment now. I had the funny. Oh wait, hold on. I feel like chat is desynced. Hold on. Let me just murder all of your computers. Restarting in 3, 2, 1, and welcome back. There we go. Welcome. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're all mad, but now you're all synced. Yeah, you're mad. Stay mad, baby. I had the weirdest thing happen recently. I can say this, can't I? I got a message on Patreon from somebody who said, "Hello, I am so and so's mom. They took my credit card and have been donating to you many dollars. Could you please, is there anything you can do?" And I feel horrible when this happens, okay? Because like, first of all, it makes me look really, really bad. Imagine if you're a parent and you find out you have like a 13-year-old kid, and you're like, oh my god, where's my money going? And you look and there's like you're like, who is this person? You Google, who is Vosh? Vosh, a YouTuber known for his controversial anarcho-syndicalist takes, is a YouTuber rife with controversy. From the pedophile rapist accusations. Yeah, exactly. And then look, oh my god, like what is my, you know? So I so I anyway, of course, I always I always refund, of course. I always refund. Even though I guess it could just be somebody fucking with me to get their, I don't really care. I don't care. Anyway, so I asked, like, okay, give me the name that's on your credit card. Oh man, is the internet going down? Oh man, for real? Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't suppose we're going to fix that now, are we? Hmm. You know, I swear to God I've been getting DDoSed lately. Is there a way to tell if you're getting DDoSed? Hold on. Do. Mm-hmm. It's better now? No, unfortunately, I'm still dropping plenty of frames. It is not, as a matter of fact, better. And if you're saying it's better, you are very privileged indeed, because there are still plenty of people having issues. Let me see if I can... Let me see if I can take a look at my router info. What are you doing right now? Hold on. System log. Yep. I have no idea what any of these numbers mean. That is true. Yep. Still don't get it. I'll keep looking. Let me see. Privilege. Hmm. Well, unfortunately, if it keeps going like this, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to not stream. What I can probably doing, what I can probably do is just record my segments offline. That's so unfortunate. What a magical stream we were going to have. Yeah, unfortunately, that is just not doing it. Hmm. What do you think, folks? Do you think we should take the meme pill and just go on ahead and you guys are minutes behind. Yeah, if you're boomer emoting right now, you guys are minutes behind. What about YouTube chat? I know that the stream on the website tends to lag a little bit further. What about you guys in YouTube chat? Can you see me? Marco. This is for YouTube specifically. I'm looking at you guys. I don't know if that's going to work any better. Yeah, well. Yeah, seems not. And now they're reacting to me saying I'll end stream early. Oh, hold on, wait. Have we smoothed out? Wait, have we smoothed out at 8,428 frames dropped? Oh, are we... Hello? Are we pulling together a little bit? Marco? All right, well, you know, you do what you can, right? Here, let me kick you guys back up real quick. Get back up here. Get back up here. Come on. Okay, all right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. See, now people are saying pull. Yep, there. Yep. Okay, we got a lot of people typing. Okay. Oh yeah. You want to? We'll see if people are really here. Polo. What do you guys say then? What do you say then? That's what I like. Ah, look at that. It's going so fast, it's gonna break my goddamn tracker. That's what I like to see. You know, it might not be a DDoS thing. It might just be Comcast servers have been getting fucky lately. It could be that. It could be that. God damn, nicely done, folks. We did it! We came out the other side. Welcome! Now, fair warning, if that happens again, I might just end stream. Because I have to tell you, it is extremely stressful on my end. It is very, very stressful on my end. To be, you know, politicking and then have to deal with all that. But thankfully, we did finish a segment before we got there. Oh, the donation kid. We didn't even get to finish that story. We didn't get to finish that story. Right now, YouTube is saying we're down to about 1,000 people watching. YouTube will do what YouTube does. I trust you guys, okay? The Dono Kid. Anyway, I asked this person because in order for me to do refunds, I have to in order for me to do refunds, I have to know the name of the person to who you know, donated me. So I asked for the credit card listed name of this person's mom, along with the dates and amounts that she wanted refunded. And holy shit, guys, It was nearly $2,000. Whoa! That poor fucking woman. For the whole month, it was like $50 dono, $50 dono, $100 dono, $100 dono. It wasn't Geronimo Roeder. It wasn't fucking Sake Tanuk. It's not anyone you know. Okay. Man, anyway, it's just all, whew. Anyway, Jesus. Yeah, it was Akhat. Aqhat. Akhat, I think. Anyway, yeah. They're permabanned now, of course. Because, you know what? As much as I love your incredible donations, they should be consensual, okay? They should be delivered to me consensually. I was very offended to know that a fan of mine would do such a terrible thing. But, you know, that's life. That's life. All right, I think we're back. We only lost more than half our viewers, but that's okay. You know what? It's about the journey. We're back. Oh yeah, and before we get to anything real political, can you believe Oh, well, Spring Bray, I'm saying that the DDoS would be to my home computer, not to the website. I'm saying they would DDoS me, not the website. The website is hosted on different servers. I don't host the website at my house or anything like that. If it were to happen. Anyway, yeah, Shuon Head is fucking dead. Can you believe it? Fuck. Yeah, Shu deleted her Twitter, or like pseudo deleted her Twitter. No, she's not actually dead. Shuon Head and Gregory broke up. Armored Skeptic, they broke up, and yeah, I think I don't know any details or anything, but it's too bad because they were quite the YouTuber power couple, you know. Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty unfortunate. Good luck for both of them, I guess. He dumped her on her birthday. Is that really true? Was it he dumped her and it was on her birthday? Holy shit. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. That's what Hyena said. Damn, that hurts. That's what people are saying? Okay. Oof. Yeah, now I'm finally free to swoop up Armored Skeptic. Yeah, you all see my plan. No, seriously though, it is very unfortunate. Good luck. I always thought they had like a really, I don't know. They were very down for each other. So I read that it was mutual. I don't rumor mill or anything like that, okay? I do wish both of them the best of luck. It's pretty unfortunate. Yeah, most breakups that people say are mutual are not mutual. You're supposed to say it's mutual. He said they agreed to break up. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, unless something goes horribly fucking wrong, you always say it's mutual, you know? Like, so, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he wanted to spend more time with his family. Yeah, whatever. Now that she isn't in a relationship, is she gonna get simped from Sargon? You know, Shuon Head has always been like the weird, like, because Shuon Head was kind of like tangentially a part of the skeptic community. Shuon Head has always been kind of like the queen bee of the skeptic community. And I feel like that there's going to be a lot of really weird shit going on. And you know what I personally am not looking forward to? People making comments about me. You know, with regards to this, because that's already happened. I saw it. I saw people mentioning me in the replies to Armored Skeptic's tweet. Fucking kill me. Jesus fucking Christ. I know that wasn't you motherfuckers, okay? You need to fucking chill, okay? Holy shit. Yeah, that's a big fucking yikes from me. That's a big yikes from me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Sargon will probably make a video about it. I'm sure it'll be very fun. It'll be How would what would Sargon's take on this be? What do you guys think? It would be something like fuck, I can't say what Sargon would say unless I'm doing his accent, but I can't do his accent. It would probably be something like I don't know, she broke up with one of the last of the chivalrous men so she could pander entirely to the wokelet SJW crowd, or maybe it'll be the other way around. That armored skeptic could no longer tolerate her flirtations with communist degeneracy. I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be some weird shit. Yeah, the left destroys relationships. Exactly, exactly. Um, you know. Anyway, it is unfortunate. So good luck to them. Think you're being weird at the moment by focusing on this? Nope, not even slightly. When a fucking 8 gazillion follower person like Shu deletes her Twitter, nah, that's pretty relevant to my interests. Especially since, and I've always maintained this, Shu is one of the best Twitter users. Did you all know that? That is true. Shu is one of the best people on Twitter. And for me, in terms of like top tier Twitter, it's Shu on Head. Fuck, I'm forgetting their name right now. They have like a blue icon. They're a bread tuber. They have like a blue icon. Fuck. Come on. Rational disconnect. Thank you, Nino. Rational disconnect. Rational disconnect. Rational disconnect. Yeah, Jordan does really fucking good shit on Twitter. Shoe and Head, obviously. Um, yeah. These. I think they're like the top three. Yeah, Drill, obviously. Yeah, true. And also, I do really like Shoonhead. Shoonhead is, I know I say this every other stream, but it's still like really impressive to me. For somebody who deals with so much contention, like for somebody who gets in arguments so fucking often, Shoonhead, like the absolute fucking kindness with which Shoonhead has approached our relationship is so refreshing. Just like, how are things? How you doing? Like, how are things doing? Oh, I saw that drama earlier. Yeah, I agree with you on that take. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Cool, great. Yeah, it's like an actual friendship. It's actually fucking wild. I I would 100% I would 100% like call like Shu an actual friend, I think. So I do sincerely hope that like things are going okay for her. Somebody keeps spamming this in chat. It's, I guess, the a meme. It's a really small image, so I'm going to have to blow it up. What do you think? How did you come in contact with her? I don't actually remember how I came in contact with Shu. I've got a really bad memory. How do we feel about this? I do think that Femstony does look better than Fosh. I look like 12. Don't I look 12? This does actually look, I feel like, now credit where credit is due. This actually does look like how I looked at 12 if I just had long blonde hair that I straightened. This is about what I looked like. I didn't have such nice eyebrows, but apart from that, this was about me. If we soften the features a little bit, take off the glasses and give me like scraggly mop hair, this does look basically like what I did. Because prepubescent or like early pubescent people, like it's not even, they boys and girls look the same. Like they look exactly the same, okay? Um for the most part. So yeah, anyway, I don't know why I look so young here. Um Femstony looks pretty good. You know what's one thing that's always bugged me? Destiny there's way more mimetic potential in Destiny's name. Sleepstony, Femstony, Dumbstony, Autistony if you're feeling edgy. You can do anything stinny and you've got all of it. Like you can just do everything stinny and it works. But with me, yikestony. But with me, it's like Vosh. Like, okay. There's not a suffix that you can stick at the end of anything. Yeah, Sweatstony. Yeah, you can just mispronounce my name. Vosh, Voosh, Varsh, Vok, Vaki. You know how it be, baby. What a wacky world. Trump is meeting homophobic president of Poland right now who is fighting for re-election. I think summarizing the current president of Poland as homophobic is really doing a disservice to his long and distinguished career of being a giant piece of shit, you know? Man, we got to talk about Trump. I don't often talk about Trump, you know, but we do have to talk about like summarizing Poland's president would be like, oh yes, a Richard Spencer, a known transphobe, was seen at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville back in 2017. You know, like it's not incorrect, but it does maybe gloss over a few details. Though, according to Blair White, Richard Spencer is interested in transgender women. Apparently, Richard Spencer creeped on her in her DMs back in like 2016 or something like that. He's like a chaser or something. Which, yeah, that's not surprising, like, in the slightest to me personally. Because if you've spent any time on 4chan whatsoever, you will find there is an astonishing relationship between far-right views and an interest in women with penises. Which is deeply, by the way, unfortunate for women with penises, because it does mean that a lot of the people who are going after you are poorly dispositioned politically. I am sorry about that. There is a reason for that. I've talked about this before. It's the same reason why the right is obsessed with femboys, by the way. You guys remember that, right? When I talked about that during the call-in stream, that was actually a really good explanation on my part. I should have clipped that. Why is the right so obsessed with femboys? I should have clipped that. I need to go back and clip that. Why are they? It's very simple. Lily is beating Vosh. No, the fuck she isn't. No, she's not. I'm winning. I'm beating out Lily Pichu in the Destiny spin-off character runoff. And I haven't liked or retweeted. How much time? An hour left? The victor has been decided. That means it's going to be me up against David Pac-Man. It was always going to come down to this, David. The final battle. Anyway, the right is obsessed with femboys because whether they like to admit it or not, the Kinsey scale exists, and many men are curious about other men, or at the very least interested in penises. A lot of men are interested in penises, even straight men. And the existence of femboys is the easiest way to engage in gay sex while maintaining the traditional aesthetic relationship of heterosexuality. This is like an ancient pact, you know, even back in ancient Greece, it wasn't gay to fuck men, it was gay to be fucked by men. Like, think about it. Imagine you're a straight guy, okay? Imagine you're a straight dude, all right? And you live with other like straight dudes, I guess. And you're thinking, I want to fuck a guy. I do want to fuck a guy. I'm interested in fucking a guy. However, I do know that one of my 27 straight roommates are going to bust in the door when they hear the moaning, and they're going to judge me on who I'm fucking. Now, how do I preserve the aesthetic of heterosexuality while fucking a guy? And then you go on Grindr and you find a femboy. Obviously, you go to Femboy Hooters and you find a femboy. And then when the door gets busted open, even though what you're doing is every bit as gay as two bears rubbing hairy chests together, the aesthetic of heterosexuality is maintained. And that is what matters more to them. So that's why the right's so obsessed with femboys. It allows you to, you know, experiment without broaching the aesthetic sort of taboo line. Are we going to talk about Trump? Lefties talk too much about femboys? Oh, sweetie, you need to spend some time in right-leaning circles, okay? If you think the left talks too much about femboys, I promise you, your political perspective needs to be opened up a little bit, because it gets a lot worse on the other side of the aisle. They are fucking obsessed. How about Kyle or Donkey? Why would I talk about Donkey? What did Donkey do? Apart from the video review of The Last of Us 2, which I haven't watched because I don't want to be spoiled. What do you honestly think of David Pac-Man? I think that David Pacman, for the most part, is pretty good. He's just like a progressive lib, but he is really like a lib. He's not like a soakdem, you know? Sam Cedar is also a liberal, but he'll like go full on like fuck corporations, power to the unions, power to the people, you know? Whereas David Pacman is a much more measured, like, well, you know, we should get Trump out of office, and, you know, this law seems unfair. He's a progressive, but that's all he is, you know? Wait, is Cedar like a straight up liberal? I don't think Cedar wants to seize the means of production. Yeah, and Sam Cedar platforms communists all the time. Sam Cedar is a soakdem? Yeah. Listen, I'm just mad about Pac-Man because he defended the Bolivian coup. Yeah, he said it wasn't a coup. He said it was like something else, you know? I'm still salty about that, but I do think for the most part, David Pac-Man is a fairly reasonable political interlocutor. You want to know what's really sad? Like actually sad. Like this makes me cry. I'm going to tear up right now just thinking about it. You know what makes me really sad? What makes me really sad is the fact that so many of the populist left political interlocutors online are so untrustworthy and so reactive with their content that it actually makes me appreciate more measured content creators like Pac-Man more. Even though Pac-Man is politically like barely like is literally to the right of AOC politically, when I like look at the alternative and I see people like Kyle Kalinske literally just doing fucking whatever, you know, like I can either get like the sensible, you know, reasonable, intelligent, like David Pacman, or I can look to the left and I see people like just doing whatever the fuck, like, dude, fuck the DNC, dude! We should vote for Trump to teach him a lesson! And then I think like, you know, I don't agree with everything David Pacman says. However, is this respectability politics? Am I falling prey? I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know. Kyle is way more reasonable than that. Yeah, I'm being a little unfair here, but it is a juxtaposition that I stand by. I follow too many libs on Twitter. Oh no, they're gonna corrupt me. Kyle defended Sauger. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll do Kyle's video. Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ, you people are needy. Fuck you. Are you going to do a lefty arc? I've been doing a lefty arc since I started this fucking channel. What do you think the woke scolds were? What do you think the tankies were? What do you think the class reductionists are? I've been doing the fucking lefty arc my entire fucking channel, okay? Destiny lefty arc. I'm the fucking lefty arc guy. Destiny's lefty arc is him pulling randos off Twitter and arguing with it. Destiny's lefty arc is him finding bread tubers and pointing out to them they have no policy positions. My lefty arc is me consistently ostracizing myself from everyone who might otherwise be watching my fucking channel, arguing with people over what I perceive to be significant ideological differences, okay? I can't stop. I can't do it. I've did fucking Kyle. I'd hardly call David Pacman left-leaning, but I called out the entirety of left Twitter. I've called out fucking Jimmy Dore, not that that counts for much. Now we're doing fucking Crystal Ball, you know. All the Bernier Busters. I've done all the Bernier Busters. I called out Sean. I love it. I love the lefty arc. I'll never stop. Yeah, Chapo. I've called out Chapo. The Tankies. Unruh. Caleb Maupin. It never stops. It never stops. Joshua Collins, that's true. Yes, you're right. I forget all the lefties that I've argued with or called out. You won't find other lefties that do this the way that I do. And the reason for that, and this is why I started my channel, is because I think the left is weak. It's weak because we're divided on so many issues. It's weak because so many of the ideas we have are completely either easily disproven or unfalsifiable. I want us to coalesce around simple core ideas that we can work together on that are irrefutably fact-based, that are driven by data, that everyone can be pulled over on. That's why I focus so hard on worker co-ops. Worker co-ops are empirically defensible. I can use historical examples from the United States of America to defend the idea of removing like unjust property relations. They are proven, at least in many circumstances, to be more economically efficient. I can draw relationships between it and like the democratic values this country was founded on. Simple, strong values that we work together on. That's what I care about. You know, that I care so much about that. That's what I want to bring people together on. You're just a suck dem? No. I'm a socialist smart enough to realize the road to socialism right now is not LARPing on Twitter about how we're getting our guns together and we're going to fucking occupy 6 blocks of Seattle. I'm smart enough to recognize that we can radicalize people by exposing them to socialist ideas. Would you call all the socialists who worked for pro-union organization back in the 1900s soak dems? Because that's what they did. Excluding today, the most active period of socialist organization in the history of this country was during the turn of the 20th century, and a lot of it was brought about by socialists and anarchists working on pro-union organizing and on workplace concessions that they meted out from the government. And that moved people over to socialism. You got to work within people's field of view. If I walk out into the street right now and I scream about how, you know, we need to seize the means of production, I mean, it's great, and I'm totally right, but who's going to listen to me? But if I start explaining to people that there are material and measurable ways in which they're getting fucked over by our establishment, I can say, well, hey, now that you like these ideas so much, do you like your 5-day work week? Do you like 40 hours? Hey, you know, used to be a lot worse. Let me introduce you to these wonderful men in our past who brought us these concessions from the government. And through this process, and this is a workable process, we move people towards, well, towards victory. You know who didn't know this lesson? You know who didn't learn this lesson? I bet you can make a guess. In fact, I'm actually deferring it to you. Which group of people didn't learn this lesson? Who fucked up recently? I'll give you an example. 4 years in the past, more or less. 3.5. 3? Come on, I know one of you is going to get it. Come on. One of you kind of got it. The Nazis. Charlottesville. Nice, small brain. Charlottesville was supposed to be the big moment for the alt-right in America. Unite the Right rally. Cameras on it from every major news station around the country. That was supposed to be their fucking moment, where they get together, and the people on the far right work together with the Republicans. The Republicans go there because they want to keep their Confederate statue or whatever, and then they meet up with the alt-right, and the alt-right's like, yeah, keep the statue, keep the statue. Hey, don't you think it's bullshit how corporations keep bringing in immigrants to make work cheaper for domestic American workers? We should do something about that. Yeah, keep the statue. Go Trump, man. Whoa. Hey, have you ever noticed how black people make up 13% of the population but commit 50% of the violent crimes? Do you really think that's because of racism, or is there something else going on there? Yeah, build the wall. Build the wall to keep our gene pool pure. That's what it was supposed to be. That was what the Unite the Right rally was supposed to be. The organizers of the Unite the Right rally, or at least those of them who are not currently in jail, these people have been pretty upfront about their intentions. Their goal was to unite the right. But unfortunately, and God bless them, Nazis aren't very intelligent, and they overplayed their hand. They didn't get subtle dog whistling. They got people in Klan hoods. They didn't get intelligent messaging. They got people Sieg Heiling while screaming, race war now, gas the kikes. They LARPed a little bit too hard. And then somebody died. Because they were incapable of keeping it in their pants, because they got too excited, they created the worst media spectacle imaginable for themselves. Do you remember that clip from Richard Spencer? Remember that one? The one, you know. You used to look up at faces like mine, you fucking octorods! Like that one, you remember? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that one. You know why he was so mad? That was recorded from him following the announcement that Heather Heyer had died at Charlottesville. He realized how bad the optics were going to be from Charlottesville. He realized the Unite the Right rally was a failure because all the news media wasn't reporting on this big peaceful assembly of conservative patriotic Americans. The news media was reporting on a bunch of alt-right neo-Nazi terrorists who killed a woman. That's why he got mad, because the optics were bad. Richard Spencer, a little bit smarter than your average Nazi, but it's a low bar to pass. That's what I worry about. I don't want to overplay our hand. I worry a little bit about Chaz. Chaz might be overplaying our hand a little bit. I mean, is it immoral to do a Chaz? Nah. I mean, sure, the people there are probably really cool. But a lot of wacky stuff has been happening in Chaz. Or is it Chop now, you know? There was that story recently about somebody getting shot inside of Chaz, and they had to send the police in there. That looks really bad. And then there was the there was that preacher. There were 3 shootings last weekend. Yeah, they've all been outside. I don't think all of them have been outside. One of them, I'm pretty sure at least one of them was inside. Yeah, because police had to come into the no-go zone. Yeah, we'll go Chop. We don't want a dead name. 2 inside, or two. You said 2 inside, 1 inside. What the fuck are you talking about? Most of them were by right-wing perpetrators? Yeah, no shit. Obviously. They should have read more theory. Yeah, sure. The police wouldn't let medics help somebody who was shot by neo-Nazis. Yes, I know, the police aid and abet the far right. I'm aware, thank you. However, I do feel like Chop might be a little bit like overplaying our hand. The conservative media space has been losing their mind over stuff that's been going on in there because it's a very easy target for criticism. You can make up pretty much anything you want about what's going on in Chop. I saw this really funny meme. Pardon me for sounding like a boomer. I saw this really funny meme, and it was like, no, you can't lie about our community of mutual aid. And then the boomer Fox News reporter said, haha, manufacturing consent goes burr. Meanwhile, 84,000 inside Chop are dead. Radioactive spiders have taken over the district. The irradiated zone will no longer be trespassable for years to come, or something like that, you know? Because you can make up anything about Chop. You can make up anything about. I could make something up right now. You can't disprove it. Watch this. This is what happens in an area like that, you know? Like right now, currently, presently, at this moment, the Pope visited Chop, and they mugged the Pope. He came in his little Pope mobile, and they mugged the Pope. Catholics all around the world are condemning Chop. You don't know if it's true. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You have no way of disproving this. Fuck the Pope. Yeah. I worry. I worry a little bit, you know? Based as hell, though. Listen, I can neither confirm nor deny whether or not mugging the Pope would or would not be a moral action, you know? What is it? It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. The Pope is, like, loaded, right? Or do they technically not own any of that? Is it all owned by the church and the Pope just sits in the chair? I don't really know. You know, I don't really know. Yeah, isn't the current Pope relatively good? I know that's a low bar, but whatever. Yeah, they don't own it. It's the church. I thought so, yeah. I don't think the Pope can just, like, spend $1 billion or something like that. I don't really know. He hates trans people. He's the Pope. Of course he hates trans people. Of course, he's probably complicit in all the sexual cover-up shit, right? Like, he would have to be, kind of, I guess. Man, what would you even do if you're the Pope? Imagine becoming the Pope, and you're like, time to deal with this shit. How many pedophiles do we have in our... Oh, 300,000? We're hiring. Like, it's, you know, just like... Oh God, it's all of them, you know? Like, yeah, can you do what a nightmare. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make right now, and I feel like we're definitely straying from the path a little bit here. Pope gifts funds to transgender community. Is this true? Oh, that's sweet. Oh, from May 2020. He has sent funds to a small transgender community in central Italy. You know, from what I've heard of this guy, I really do think we could have gotten a worse pope. I mean, credit where credit is due. I think that's sweet. I think that's nice. The community, many of whom are sex workers, have fallen on hard times due to coronavirus. Aw. Can you imagine if you're a bunch of trans sex workers, you know, and then like you get a check in the mail and it's from the Pope. Here you go. Here's some papal currency, you know, papist currency, and it's just like they sawed off one of the golden like you know, ornaments from the chair he sits in. Like, here you go. Yeah, papist wealth. Have it. Yeah, anyway, it's really important to not overplay your hand. You have to remember that right now 90% of America is just wants to grill. Okay? Now, we have to remember that grilling is fundamentally it's counter-revolutionary, all right? Grilling is counter-revolutionary. It produces CO2, all right? We can't do it anymore. That's what it is. It's counter-revolutionary. So, we need to get people off their grills. The problem is people like grilling. And what we want to do when we see the average American grilling, the average American, they're just flipping burgers, you know. They're flipping burgers, you know, and what we want to do is we want to be able to walk up to them and put a hand on their shoulder and say, "Hey, this world limits your grilling. Join me, and I will give you a world where you can grill more and juicier burgers than you ever imagined." The dysfunctional relations of class prohibit you from dedicating your time and energy to the art of grilling. That's what we want to do. We want to meet them on their level, okay? What we don't want to do is have, you know, them grilling. They're grilling it up, and then they see the TV through the slide-in door, the kitchen TV through, like, the glass door, and they see, like, a Fox News report on the blacks-only zone that has been formed in CHOP, or where they have a bunch of white people forming a barrier saying you must, with a bunch of color swatches saying you have to have this color in order for you to walk in, and then the fucking grilling guy's like, the hell is wrong with those folks? Shh. That's what you need. We need to hit them with information that makes them interested. We can't. The hell is wrong with those kids? And to him, that looks like racism. And can you blame him? If you've spent your entire fucking life barely involved in the political process, and you see a bunch of pictures of people with lip piercings, screaming about how only black people can enter this area, if that's all you see, if that's all you know, yeah, imagine you're trying to convince Hank Hill. Yeah, and then they look up and they see that from it doesn't even have to be Fox News. It has to be like CNN or something. And like, God damn it, what's going on with this country? Like, that's all they get. And then they're going to go on Facebook and they're going to say that back in their day, racism was when blacks had to drink out of the wrong fountain or whatever, and that nowadays these kids don't know what racism is, and this boomer has no interest in understanding the situation beyond the very limited perspective that they've been given, and you can't blame them for that, because you shouldn't have to expect every single fucking American to spend 20 fucking hours a week dedicating their time to fully familiarizing themselves with the constantly evolving geopolitical landscape of America. Not everyone can do that. It's not possible for everyone to do that. That's our job. We have to reach those people. Even in a crazy fucking hyper-socialist society, even in a fucking anarchist society, most people are just going to want to grill. Most people are just going to want to grill. Most people will still just be grilling. So we need to reach the grillers, and we have to do that with easy messaging. Easy messaging. Not Weird shit. Okay? That's what is wrong with those boys? So what's the easy message? Black people have it hard here in America. There are things we can do to improve their relationship with the police. We can make this country fairer. We can make this country more just. We can dedicate our resources to more reasonable pursuits. We can mitigate the harm done to this country through corporate greed. We can support and empower the worker. We can address systemic racism. We can make this country great again. Yeah. Pick any one of those. It doesn't have to be all of them. Pick any one of them. Pick an issue that day. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'll co opt any messaging. And if they say there's no systemic racism, say, that's great. Then we're just going to improve things for everyone. We're not trying to help black people when we reform the police. We're trying to help everyone. Did you know that police shootings in America are far more likely or far more disproportionate than police shootings in other countries? It's not just black people. Why don't we just help the police for everyone? Well, the police do nothing wrong. Okay, well, here's some simple data. Don't you think maybe we should at least not have police going to do fucking parole checkups? Or getting sent to fucking rescue cats out of trees? Maybe we should have like another group of people we can refer to. There's always a simple answer. What if they say black people already get handouts? Then say we're not giving them any more handouts, because we're not giving them any more handouts. Does investing in their communities not benefit them in the long term? Does that not make it more likely we won't have to give them handouts in the future? There is always an out. There is always an out. What we do online is not real politics. Right now, my job is to convince other people who are already politically engaged. Real politics is convincing people who are not politically engaged. That is the magic of politics. That is the secret. What I do is easy. People come to me already caring about politics, and I share with them ideas, but my ability to convince them is contingent upon their belief that it is worthwhile for them to spend their time investigating the truthfulness of my claim. If there are people who don't give a fuck, those are the people, and those are most people, who need to be convinced. That's the tough part. And as for how to convince those people, well, you have to think about optics. That's what matters most for those people. Anyway, that's probably enough for a segment. It's just something I wanted to talk about. I swear to God I have a cold. Yeah. Black Lives Matters is a bad optics label. I don't necessarily think so. Black Lives Matter has a lot of public support right now. Here, is there any more info? The info that I have is 2 weeks old. Black Lives Matter public polling. I want to see if there's any information from the past 2 weeks. From the past week? Come check out what Artemy did when you can. Uh-oh! Looks like my cat did something funny. Hold on 1 second. I am beholden very much to cute kitties. Okay, so the thing he did wasn't so much funny as it was annoying. He went into our laundry room and he tore open a bag of cat sand and just spread the sand everywhere on the floor and just laid on it because he was proud. Bad kitty. Ah! Violence! Why? Violence! Ow! Oh, but he licks too, so it's okay. Can I help you? That does hurt, you know. Ow. Don't you know peaceful revolutions are what MLK would have wanted, kind of? Not really. Everyone tell him he's bad. Tell him. Tell him. He's getting mixed messages. You see all that shit on the screen? That's the condemnation of thousands. How does that make you feel? Probably not much. Oh my god, you're shedding so much. Is it that warm today? It's pretty warm today. He really does have a kill me if you wish, I've already done what I need to do kind of look, doesn't he? You know? Alright, get the fuck out of here. Fluffy. Woo! You see him do that jump? Alright, I'm back. I'm here. I'm back. I'm here. Hello. What are these images? Ugh. What do you think about Destiny's new nihilism arc? I've made my opinions clear. Okay, I definitely have a cold. What the fuck? I woke up with a sore throat. Can we chill? Okay. Oh, man. God damn it. Give me a second. Go. Leave. I feel like my sinuses are backed up by about half a pound. We're not wasting any more time, folks. Sorry. Focus up. Anyway, the reason why I'm optimistic about Black Lives Matter's messaging is because, at least for the moment, people's support for curtailing police power seems pretty uniform. 95% support requiring police to intervene and stop excessive force by other officers. 89% require police to give verbal warnings before shooting. Another 76% support requiring states to publicly release disciplinary records for law enforcement, and 74% allowing individuals to sue police officers. That kind of stuff, you know? It's nice. Not perfect, but it's nice. Wait, there's no verbal warning now? You think the police have to give you a verbal warning before shooting you right now in the United States of America? You think you can sue police officers for using excessive force? Oh, my European friends. My friends. Will I be uploading my response to Isaac Butterfield's response to you? Yeah, for sure. I was going to do it today. Qualified immunity, baby. You know how it be. All right, listen. We got a lot to talk about. A lot. So much, as a matter of fact. But we're going to open up with something that's not currently listed on the title, just to make you guys mad, just to anger you, just to infuriate you. I want to give a hearty congratulations to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for the stunning victory in her primary yesterday. Despite billionaire money being pumped into Michelle, just a huge amount of corporate support, folks. Huge. Alexandria blew her the fuck out. Now, why is this important to me? Well, because I'm not a fucking moron, I always knew Alexandria was going to win. Because, holy shit, obviously, she has a very high approval rating from her district. But there are some people who did not share those perspectives. I draw your attention now to Dim Fool, who has been just losing it today. Ocasio-Cortez re-election in trouble as Trump mega donors donate to her main rival. How mad. All those Trump donors donating to a Democrat candidate who got blown the fuck out. AOC is going to lose her seat in June to a moderate as the trend holds true. Progressives don't win. Ocasio-Cortez close to losing her seat in Congress. Bail reform backfired and Democrats declare war. And then, yesterday, the moment passes. Maybe people don't want to go back to the way things were. Did you actually think AOC was going to lose? No, I kept saying she'd win. No. That's what I like to see. We see a similar pattern here. Here's another video, by the way. He's done so many videos on AOC. Ocasio-Cortez could lose re-election tomorrow, and she's worried this could end the leftist Democrats. Then, of course, we get the results. He won't be streaming today. Now, I have made my opinions known about Tim Pool many times, but I'm happy to say it again. I'm happy to refresh, happy to refresh everyone's, memory. Tim Pool is one of the stupidest and most bad faith political interlocutors, on YouTube. The fact that he is still keeping up this, I'm actually a liberal who's just disaffected with the Democratic Party, and people are still buying it, is insane to me. you'll notice all of those videos, despite being little stream clips, all had hundreds of thousands of views. Tim Pool might actually have more engagement than literally any other political figure on YouTube right now. If we go to, what's the name of his channel? Timcast? Timcast, right? That's his one of his channels. He has multiple, you know. Yes, the cringe cast, as one might say. Dave Rubin is dumber, though. Listen, it's not a race, okay? Except for what AOC run. AOC ran a race and won, as it so happens. But yeah, look, I mean, it's actually disgusting. Tim gets about 40 million views a month right now. His growth has been like astronomical. It's actually insane. It's actually extremely depressing. I feel bad for the people who this is higher than Crowder. This is higher than Shapiro. It's actually pretty crazy because Tim Pool is, I mean, if you actually watch his videos, he is not bright, but that kind of fits though, doesn't it? If you actually go to his, if you actually go here, let's take a look at Timcast. How you doing, Timcast? Take a peek.
For those that aren't familiar,
he posts incredibly frequently. And it's basically like a little snip, a little snapshot of what you would expect like any other reactionary YouTube channel to go, but it has this veneer of good faith criticism of Democrats. See? Ocasio could be voted out on Tuesday. Here, constantly covering Chaz kind of fits into what I was saying just the other day. Far leftists in Chaz get reality check as medics refuse to enter without police and man bleeds out. Excellent. Conservatives join the leftist cultural revolution, demand elite universities be canceled. Leftists claim TikTok teens own Trump, mock low rally turnout, but this could still help Trump. Even Trump... Even Trump said... Even Trump would claim to be furious about the underwhelming crowd at Tulsa rally. But that's part of what, like, Trump simps do. Even Trump will admit that he's, like, upset or furious with something, and they'll be like, well, no, actually, it's good for him. That's the point of being a simp, right? Like, you have to have a greater faith in your God than the God does in themselves, you know? Here's another Chaz shooting. Statues being torn down. Cancel Joe Rogan. Korean rooftop meme. Tulsa declares civil emergency over Trump rally and protest fears. Like, everything that he does, it's very lazy. It's like he finds one article and then he reads it out loud while constantly editorializing, you know? Now, mind you, I am not exactly the most active and energetic content creator. You might notice very little editing goes into my videos, and I'm proud of what I am, baby. But when I make content, I do genuinely believe that I am infusing my videos with a fairly high level of, you know, intellectual engagement. I do make an effort. Like, I really do, you know? I may not edit those videos, but goddamn do I put effort into what I'm thinking about. High-level ideas, you know? But, man, and this is just one of the channels too. If we can go to Timcast IRL, you know? Always fun. This channel also gets hundreds of thousands of views. Oh, I saw this. Tim Explodes slams the people who refuse to stand up to the mob. I saw this. Look at this. Nearly 500,000 views one day after it was posted. God, fuck me. I wish I could get that kind of engagement. It is in part jealousy, you know. I do admit to that. But the fact that there are people online, that many people online, who put so much stock in the words of this man. Listen to this.
And this is what
Here, he has this little online show.
I was thinking, you know what, man? I thought if Joe Biden wins, then this whole country is going to go so far woke, so fast, your head will spin, and no one will do anything about it. But if Trump wins, the insane woke people will start some kind of civil war. I think... Listen
to this. Listen to this man. Woke people. What the fuck does he mean? People will get so woke so fast. The term woke is really useful for these brainlets because it's so amorphous and so non-specific that it could refer to literally anything. What the fuck does he mean? Like, what is he referring to here?
I think that
they'll try.
No. Listen. If Biden wins, then all of these conservatives and all of these people who are complaining about the stuff will sit on their hands and say, oh, well, I don't like it. And they'll do nothing about it. Nothing will happen.
No, you're wrong, because you already said earlier when we were talking about what California is doing, when they come for the elites' children, the elites will make a difference and change and fight it. That's just the beginning.
That was from James Lindsay, who said, I think I...
Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the language of the Boogaloo, but this sounds like a far-right podcast right now from what we're listening to. We need to defend Western civilization against these insane replace cultural Marxists with woke people. When they come for the children of our elite, when they realize what a threat these people are, then they'll do something. It's the same ploy fascists engage in time and time again. Every single threat, every concern has to be brought up to the level of civilization ending. Somebody's burning a flag, civilization is ending. Statues being taken down, civilization is ending. People are protesting, civilization is ending. An AutoZone got burned, civilization is ending. Yeah, he talks about the war on white people every single stream. This is the language of the far right, because Tim Pool is a fascist. I know people say I call everyone a fascist, but this is not exactly a difficult call on my part. Every single fucking time anything happens in this country, there is an entire community of people online who will claim that this is the beginning of the death of Western civilization, that this is an attack on white people. Very telling, by the way, that protests against racism are interpreted as an attack against white people. As a white person, I do not feel particularly threatened myself, but I don't know, maybe that's just my predilection. And they screech about how this is the beginning of the end times. The rhetoric of civilizational collapse is the turning point. It's the wheel around which fascist rhetoric turns.
Saw the beginning of the end of this.
I know, but I think there's some truth in that, though.
I do.
Because the people who make the most money, they like the status quo if they continue making the most money, because they can pay for whatever security they need. They can pay to have food brought in for wherever they want. It doesn't affect them. But when it starts affecting them, they're going to...
The wealthy elite are insulated from the consequences of the social culture war that they bring about. They have the wealth to allow the woke to patrol the streets. This is what Nazis would say, by the way. The wealthy people don't really give a fuck if the Jews import a bunch of brown and black people because they live in gated communities. You've listened to me argue with Nazis before. Have you heard that argument before? Because I know I have. The reason the wealthy import so many brown and black people is because they're wealthy enough to live in gated communities where they get to live amongst their own folk. They don't care what happens to the common people. Hey, this is right-wing populism, by the way. Criticisms of wealthy people, not because of the inherent power disparity between the wealthy and the poor, mind you, but because the wealthy people finance cultural movements that we don't like. That's right-wing populism. Hello, Crystal Ball. Why don't you have Tim Pool on sometime? I'm sure you guys would get along. Anyway, at some point in this video, Tim Pool loses his shit. Is it this point?
Dude. Even though the Joe Rogan podcast has been around for a decade, and they'll say, oh no, what do we do? And the left will probably gain tons of ground and go insane, and people will say, please leave me alone. And if Joe Biden wins, they'll take over all our cultural institutions, they'll put psychotic and insane definitions in our dictionary, and they will take over, and regular Americans will say, please, for the love of God, just leave me alone. And they never will. They'll never stop coming. They will take your job away. They will come for your parents. You will do something wrong, they'll fire your mom. They'll come to your house with fireworks and guns, and Americans will still just say, please, just leave me alone. And that's how it is. Even in the Revolutionary War, most people, the largest majority of people, were non-initiated. There was a small faction saying no revolution. There was a larger faction saying revolution. And the bulk said, please just leave me alone. So long as we've been dealing with the psychotic cancel culture, and I've been hearing about people like James Lindsay saying this, and Coleman Hughes saying, I get messages all the time from people saying this is insane and must stop. Well, where are you to stand up at your job and tell your boss to shut up when he says, I'm going to put out this bland message that panders to these woke lunatics? Where are you to say, if you
So, in case you haven't spent much time listening to the far right talk, everything Tim Pool just said could have ended with the phrase "gas the kikes race war now," and it would not have been a pivot at any point in time. I've heard his rhetoric from neo-Nazis before. Seriously, everything that he's talking about. The average common American doesn't want this bullshit. They're simpering. They're weak. The insane cultural Marxists are taking to the streets. They're going to destroy our culture. They're going to override our dictionaries. They're going to attack white people over and over and over again. They will never stop. It will be the death of every... You could literally just end that with "gas the kikes race war now," and it really would not be much of a difference. But he says it nicer. That's the difference. He doesn't say cultural Marxists, he says woke. He doesn't say race war, he says culture war. He doesn't say Jews, he says elites. He's got the definition switched up. Sounds a little bit more civil. And that's all it takes for people. Because the people who watch Tim Pool, and I see this from the TikTok kids too. There are so many of these TikTok kids. They're like, MAGA 2020, fuck immigrants, fuck leftists. Oh, I'm not a conservative. I'm a classical liberal. Conservatism is not very hip these days. So all these people with conservative values are dressing themselves up as just, I mean, we know the meme, right? The enlightened centrist. Oh, I'm not a conservative. I'm just a centrist who has some concerns. And then you see them retweeting, Lauren Southern or something. We know the meme. And Tim Pool is perfect for people like that. He is picture perfect for those people. He's not particularly bright, which means it's easy to relate to him. His appearance reeks of like early 30s like male insecurity. I mean, no offense to anyone who's watching right now who looks like this, but I will, if there's any like eminable quality of Tim Pool, is that he is very relatable in this respect. And all of the language that he uses is just a sanitized version of far-right rhetoric. And I imagine a lot of the people who watch him are not themselves open neo-Nazis, but probably just fascists who don't know what fascism is or that they are fascists. You know? Naive co-host, BLM and corporate America are developing quite an alliance. In Nazi Germany, the Nazis argued that big corporations were allied with the Jews. I mean, they still do. And that they were destroying German culture through the dissemination of cultural Bolshevism. Can't trust polling. Oh, they're coping about Biden's poll numbers, I think. Tearing down America's history clearly shows that Marxism has infiltrated America. Listen to that. These people want to remove Confederate memorials, and these people instantly, they think this is Marxism. I fucking wish. God, I wish. But no. A lot of those people are just liberals, but they're anti-racist. The conflation of anti-racism and Marxism. Where have I heard that before? Anti-racism is a code word for anti-white? Heard that before. Yes, the silent majority must stop being silent. You can literally just read these out of speeches. Does anyone know how to read German? I mean, you don't even need translations. I can see it now. New host of InfoWars, Tim Pool. Okay, that's accurate. This person's on the mark. I don't want anyone to go out and engage in physical conflict. That's a perfectly rational and decent position to take. It's just too late for that. The left has escalated it to the point where any discourse, civil or otherwise, is impossible. They have escalated it to the point of widespread destruction and violence. They want a war. Never let people believe that we are the ones gunning for civil war in this country. These people, literally, there's a couple blocks in Seattle get taken over, a few statues get torn down, and these people want a fucking war. It isn't just them. It's the entire internet right now that is on the right who is treating this like the beginning of a race war. The people who talk about BLM like it's anti-white. The people who talk about tearing down these statues like it's anti-white. These people desperately want to go out into the streets with an AR and gun down black men who are in the process of, I don't know, protesting a Chick-fil-A or something. They jerk off to it. They're little fucking wieners. It's the only thing that gets them hard anymore. The power fantasy, the masculinity, the idea of being the champion of their Western values and going on out there and destroying the free speech of protesters as the forefathers would have wanted. And Tim Pool's a nexus of that. I think, and I feel comfortable in saying this, in addition to Tim Pool being glaringly, hilariously incorrect about stuff like, AOC's incredible victory, I do think that people like Tim Pool, and certainly Tim Pool's audience, should probably be looked at with scrutiny by organizations like the FBI. These people gun for civil war, and they facilitate the gunning of civil war every bit as substantively as people like Lauren Southern, which led to the Charlottesville shooting, or not Charlottesville, I'm very sorry, the Christchurch shooning. Both start with a C. I'm very, I'm weak. Through the conspiracy theory of the Great Replacement, and now we have this. Tim Pool is probably at this point in time one of, if not the most active and influential political figures on the internet. And if that does not speak to the position we are in right now, I don't know what does. All right, nicely done. We did it. Has Pool blocked you? Nah. I don't think Tim Pool blocks anyone on Twitter. He's not the type. That's more of a Dave Rubin kind of thing. It really does. Oh, Tim Pool blocked you? Is that true? Oh, I've insulted him quite a few times. I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me. Have I ever had any contact with him? No, Tim Pool is one of the biggest and most influential figures there is. No, I have not had any talk with him, unfortunately. Don't I have a debate today? I do, don't I? Oh, yeah. Is that person here? I don't know if I scheduled this. Where is that person? Ah, here they are. They DM'd you? How wonderful. Remember when Jordan Peterson talked about Marxists the same way Tim Pool's fans do in his comments? Well, Jordan Peterson is also, and this should be no surprise to any of you, a fascist. I know it's, By the way, can you hear the lawnmower outside? Is that audible to you? No? That's awesome. I did some audio editing of my settings, While I'm waiting on this person, we're debating a TERF who made a video critical of my video on J.K. Rowling, so that should be good. Harbor, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Likewise for one comrade A1. Methaldu, thank you very much for the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. The Encrypted Afro, thanks to the tier 1 sub. J-Rig's friend and Katya with the gifted tier 1 subs. Really appreciate that. Vominos the Fox, thanks to the tier 1 sub. And likewise, Coffee and Murmur. That is true. Everyone here is gay. Nicely done. And Diabetic Rights. There, we covered the quickies, so to speak. Jay Busy, thank you very, very much for your approval, comrade, and for the $5. Joel Flizovic, thank you very much for the gifted tier 2 sub. Yes, Pitbot V2 is far more aggressive than its predecessor. Thick MN, thanks to the tier 2 sub. Mail the Transies, the tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tamsin with the 11 euros. Blip bloop. I agree completely. Aunt Tifa with the 220. Please check this out. It's hilarious and only 15 seconds long. Do I have to?
What are they advertising here? The Satisfyer Pro 2. GNO Media. Come on, man. Get your cookies right. This ain't for... Well, okay, maybe. Anyway.
Wait, I don't
What are they advertising here? The Satisfyer Pro 2. GNO Media. Come on, man. Get your cookies right. This ain't for. Well, okay, maybe. Anyway.
Okay, wait. That took me a sec. Okay. All right, I'm sorry. Hey, here's my positive messaging. I don't get it. Well, there are a couple of interpretations. First of all, it is funny because advertisements are tailored to your interests. That's how Google AdSense works. Second of all, it's funny because he sees an ad of a sex toy and thinks it's not for him, which kind of implies he doesn't get any. And third of all, the implication is that he might believe that those sex toys are inherently something for women, but they popped up for him anyway. So there are multiple avenues from which you could approach the perceived comedy of that situation. Lilo Dida, thanks very much for the tier 2 sub, and Dr. Lenzo, I do agree JRPGs are generally good at telling stories. They just tell bad stories. Now, what are you gonna do? Nice, Nuberific. Well done on libertarian socialism on 8 values. Anyway, built bars and Quest protein bars. Very true. Gotta get swole. Nuo, thank you so much for being here. Happy you caught my stream. Hopefully you didn't dip after we had that catastrophic fucking internet outage. Oh, shit. Awesome. Duly noted, Nuberific. I do enjoy Shleemies. There we go. Let's do it. Let's do a talk. What do you think, folks? Let's talk to a turf.
Hi.
Hello?
I don't know if you want to be camera.
Howdy?
Me? Is it all right?
Yeah, give me a full sentence.
Hello there. I'm King Critical. I'm on YouTube. Again.
Gotcha. Either there's some lag or your mic settings are a little off. Are you using push to talk or are you using voice detection?
I don't know. I think I'm.
Here, click on the gear wheel in the bottom left that says user settings of Discord.
Yeah, got it.
Then click on voice and video under app settings. Does it say you're on voice activity or push to talk?
I'm on voice activity.
That is what I imagined. Click on unclick on automatically determine input sensitivity. And then drag the slider all the way to the left, all the way down to negative 100 decibels.
All the way to negative 100?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've done that.
And now you sound great.
Awesome. Great. Hi.
Howdy.
I just need to... Yeah, good to talk to you.
Yeah, I love talking to
how
people.
How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, you should probably be careful with your niceties now, because historically my conversations with people of your political disposition don't tend to go very well.
Can you see me, by the way? I'm just wondering. I turned it on instinctively, but I don't know.
I can see you. Do you want me to throw you up on stream?
I don't mind. Yeah, you can. Yeah, right, that's fine.
I'll do that then.
All right, cool.
All right. So hit me up. I have not yet had the time to watch your video. Give me your criticisms. I'm ready for them.
Oh, no. I see. You would want me to give you my criticism. Unfortunately, the video I made about you it's not very useful. It's not very kind of conducive to good discussion, mostly because your video was about J.K. Rowling. And I don't, thoroughly endorse J.K. Rowling. My bigger interest is in the wider idea. And like more specifically, the reason why I would agree with someone like J.K. Rowling is because I think, what is it that you think queer theory, which is, say, the idea that gender is determined 100% by self-identity, what does that idea explain or make clearer about gender and about kind of feminist discourse? How does that help have a more robust feminist discourse?
I'm not sure if it's about having a more robust discourse as it is about mitigating harm and most accurately identifying the way in which people engage with gender.
Okay, see, that's interesting. I thought you might say that. See, for me, that's not very helpful because it's basically saying that it's a very utilitarian way of looking at things to say, like, the reason why we should believe a certain thing or affirm a certain truth is because it's going to make people happier. And I think that could easily, you would surely think, lead to all sorts of potential issues down the line.
I don't think
where
so.
somebody can just say, "Oh, that doesn't." But see, for me,
Well, the thing is, and
my-
you have to remember, there is no inherent truth of gender. We didn't discover gender somewhere in a forest. It's a social construct. It is what we make of it. So in the process of reshaping it to better suit human need, we're doing what social constructs are meant to do, to serve human need. There's not some inherent truth value we have to, respect or dig up.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. So in other words, I would disagree on your definition of what or your assessment of what a social construct should do. I don't think a social construct is there to to help humans, to make things nice for humans. I think a construct is there to better facilitate, and sometimes I do think it's there to help. I think it's there to better facilitate dialogue, to better facilitate understanding the world. And I don't think it's helpful to take an idea and that is very useful, that is a theory or an understanding of a concept, and say, well, we need to change that in order to make other people happier.
Yeah, but like, why would? Okay, hold on. So
Okay,
wait. So let's back up in this. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
yeah.
understanding of what? Gender is,
Right.
as we both agree, a social construct. There's no fundamental truth to understand. It is only a system that we have devised to explain patterns in our world. The extent to which we understand it is contingent upon its perceived existence. If to us, gender is nothing more than a system of self-identification, then if we understand it to be that, our understanding is as significant as any level of understanding could be of a more essentialist view of gender.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying, but the thing is, I would say it is, and I understand what you're saying, that basically it doesn't really exist. It's something made up. But I would say that we've made it up, and it's really useful for looking at things, most particularly, especially if you're a progressive, I think, looking at the oppression of women and basically understanding feminism. And I would say that the minute that you start saying, well, actually, I, right now, could self-identify as a woman, and suddenly I become the subject of feminism, patriarchy becomes something that affects me as a woman, that feminism should focus on my rights as a woman, I think at that point you've then taken away the utility of that construct deconstructing patriarchy.
This is the lie that all TERFs propagate. The idea that the self-identification theory of gender in any way destroys our ability to understand power relations or meaningfully address the experience that assigned female at birth people go through. I've interacted with a lot of trans people in my life. I mean, a lot. I have never met any of them who believe that a cis and a trans person, or cis and a trans woman or man, are identical in every way, or that the experiences of a cis woman in youth are the same as a trans woman's youth. I have never met a person like that. And I have never been in a trans space and not been able to talk about the difference in these experiences. The idea that we're sanding over distinctions is just not the case. I've never seen this happen. But people like J.K. Rowling will always make this implication, or that outright statement, the idea that we are harming cisgender women, or real women, as some of them might say, by obfuscating the difference between trans and cis people, which is, I mean, it's silly. We're just saying trans women are women. There's not much else to it.
See, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And I mean, you've stated this elsewhere. You said, and I've heard other people say this, that, black women have a different experience to white women, and lesbian women have a different experience to straight women. But I think the fundamental point is that you understand patriarchy as something where men have oppressed women, and that this has always taken a similar form of being, to a significant extent, based on biology. Now, I'm not an essentialist, and I think a lot of gender critical people are not essentialists. I don't believe that it's all 100% about biology, and I think that even things outside of biology can determine gender. But biology has a huge part in it, and you're saying, well, we can understand the struggles of women who also happen to have a broadly female biology, while also understanding that some women have penises. And certainly I agree you can, but I would argue, is that the best way to understand what patriarchy is in terms of the historic oppression? Like people...
Patriarchy affects everyone, regardless of biology. Patriarchy affects toxic masculinity and the way that straight men experience life. Patriarchy significantly affects gay men, and they aren't oppressed by their biology. They're men. Even the beefiest, hunkiest, big muscle, colossal, beefy, gorilla-dicked gay men are still affected negatively by social conceptions relating to the patriarchy. And nobody, not even TERFs, would go up to these people and say, well, the patriarchy never affected you. Like, no, of course not. Now, there is an element of patriarchal oppression that is rooted in the biological dimorphism between cisgender men and cisgender women. That's definitely the case. But we are not, I mean, that's not being sanded over with the acknowledgement that trans women are still women. And most trans women end up getting subjected to a lot of the same physiological disparities that cisgender women do. If you talk to like a trans woman who's been living as a woman for some time, they're going to be a fuckload more nervous about walking alone at night. They're going to be a lot more nervous about spending time around cisgender men, because they now recognize that the social systems that they then would have participated in as the perpetrator are now systems which affect them. I think you are the one who is being reductive and sanding over understanding by ignoring this.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna have to kind of address like two things. Well, one, I wouldn't say so. Obviously, yes, everybody is affected by patriarchy, but I think that it's important to understand the distinctions between how different people are affected. You know, the way I'm affected as a man is not the same as how a woman is affected. And I know you're going to say, well, yeah, sure, but there's all sorts of differences within the category of women and men. However, I think that it's also important to understand that historically, within understanding what patriarchy is, and also understanding how misogynists understand patriarchy, it makes sense to say, okay, well, if you're somebody who generally fits into what would be considered a man, and I should clarify, I don't think gender is easy to define in gender critical perspective, but I also don't think that just saying, well, it's completely up to self-identity is very helpful either, because the people who actually are oppressing men and women based on different understandings of patriarchy are doing them in very different ways, and they're doing them based on an understanding of gender that is not in line with just self-identity. And I don't think it makes sense to have a completely different sense of gender to the system you're critiquing. Because then I think you're kind of not able to communicate as easily.
We can't. In what way can I not communicate? Like, as a person who recognizes that gender is a product of self-identification, what am I missing? Like, what can't I describe? What understanding am I lacking in?
I'd say that's a good question. I'd say there's loads of things that gender critical theory explains better than queer theory. But one thing I'd say it does is I think it makes it easier to understand the oppression of gender non-conforming people. You know, you look at the big focus of transgender politics. A huge amount of it is people should be able to go to whichever bathroom it is they identify with. People should be able to go to whichever abuse shelter it is they identify with. But according also to queer theory, somebody being a drag queen, somebody being somebody who dresses up like a woman, or somebody being, a kind of autogynephilic, I don't want to use like memey terms like sissy, somebody who dresses up as a woman for sexual pleasure.
Autogynephilia is a pretty memey term, considering it's not used anywhere in academia or medicine.
I know, yeah, I know. But that's the term I know, so that's the only one. But somebody who gets off on the idea of being perceived as a woman. But they might not consider themselves to be a woman. They might consider themselves to be a man. And the issue I would think is, well, hold on a minute, aren't those people just as likely to be subject to all sorts of horrible treatment in a man's bathroom or in a man's abuse shelter as somebody who considers themselves to identify as a woman? So it seems to me.
Yeah, but how do I not know that?
Well, what I'm saying is, it seems to me like queer theory muddies the understanding and properly kind of dealing with the experiences and the oppression of people who are gender non-conforming. And the reason it does so is because, and again, the big focus is on women, whether they're trans women or cis women, should be allowed to go into women's shelters because trans women are likely to face all sorts of issues in a man's shelter or in a man's prison or anywhere else. But I would say, well, hold on a minute, what about men who are gender non-conforming, who are in the exact same situation? Their issues are bulldozed over in the interest of, it's all about...
How are they bulldozed over?
Because of the focus that you have, which is 100%.
No, you're perceiving the focus. I've talked about all of this before. You're inventing limitations of existing queer theory so you can criticize them for going over certain people. If you sincerely believe that TERFs have a greater degree of concern for gender non-conforming people, many of whom will then later go on to be transgender, then queer theory, which has long been a shelter for, both academically and literally, the concept of gender nonconformity, then I'm not entirely sure what to say. The idea that people are oppressed based on various characteristics associated with their gender, it doesn't begin and end with identity. It's very well right to recognize that some people who identify as a man, who are cisgender men, who are still more feminine, or gender nonconforming might also be subject to certain patriarchal, elements of oppression, but I would never deny that. I mean, that's not a limitation that I have.
I think the focus it puts on, because you look at historically the oppression of these people, you look at where we're coming from, you look at the society that we exist in that we're criticizing, bigots do not care. And you think about, okay, and this is just an example that I think of, which I think perfectly encapsulates this. There was an old man, doesn't matter who the old man is, but I was watching TV with him. And do you know Eddie Izzard, the comedian Eddie Izzard?
I do not.
Okay, he's a comedian in the UK who performs in drag, and he identifies as a man. He appears on TV with makeup on, and this old man, this, let's be honest, bigot, says, ugh, like he's disgusted to see a man in drag. Now, my point is that the experience of that man, of that old bigot, judging that person for being gender nonconforming is identical whether or not Eddie Izzard identifies as a woman or a trans person. So for me, it doesn't seem useful to take this exact same identical type of bigotry and turn it into two different types of bigotry, depending on the self-identity of the person.
I mean,
involved.
they're highly related. I mean, they're not exactly the same. They're very related. They're different in how it's experienced by the person being subjected to it. But again, like, this isn't a limitation that I have. This is one of the problems that I have with TERFs, You poise yourself as somebody who just has legitimate concerns about the limitation of an academic framework, but your belief system leads to the harm and degradation of trans people. You're coming to me from the perspective of a bigot. You're the person who's ignoring essentially the autonomy and the academic consensus with trans people on the presumption that there is some incredibly specific and esoteric situation in which you perceive there might be limitations to queer theory? In what way exactly, and for what reason, should I not believe that transgender women are women in every such way as a cisgender woman is a woman, or at least no more so far than the difference between a tall woman and a short woman? What are the problems with my theory? What's the problem with my perspective?
Well, I think one reason why you shouldn't believe it is because the reason you state for believing it is because you want to mitigate harm, which I don't think is a good reason to affirm something
that's
true.
Literally why we have social constructs. There's no truth value to pursue. You just have they
serve
serve human needs.
Social constructs don't exist to stop people feeling upset. I mean, the reason why we have the social construct of race, and the reason why it's very useful for progressives to understand the construct of race and have a very clear understanding of what race is beyond just self-identity or anything like that, is because it helps us to understand the oppression, both historical and today, of people of color. The reason why we have the construct of gender is because it helps us to understand the oppression, both historical and current, of
we have a better understanding now of the racial dynamics of the Roman Empire, even though our current understanding of race has nothing to do with that of the Roman Empire. You don't need to preserve oppressive social constructs to continue to understand them. There's no relationship between those two things. What then? Should we keep racism? Racism is a social construct, and by preserving racism, we preserve and amber the relations between black and white people, making it easier for us to understand the way in which these groups interact with one another. Social constructs exist because people want them to exist, or at the very least because we allow them to exist. But if we're going to change them, we have to recognize we do so with the intent of making life better for people. Isn't that what TERFs are always crowing on about? The expectations of femininity? Why should a woman be expected to wear high heels and makeup and what have you? What is that but not challenging a social construct for the betterment of the people subjected to it?
The thing is, okay, you're talking about the construct as, I mean, apart from anything else, like a moral judgment, versus a construct as an analytic tool to talk about what the disagreement is over. So racism versus anti-racism is a disagreement over a agreed construct, which is race. An anti-racist is saying, yeah, okay, race exists as a social construct insofar as its effects are real. A racist is saying, yeah, race exists for, all sorts of shitty reasons. And they think that certain races are bad. In a similar way, a misogynist is somebody who says, or any kind of, gender-based chauvinist, obviously usually it's going to be a misogynist, is going to say, well, gender exists, and there's one gender which is better than the other. And the person who's an egalitarian is going to say, no, gender does exist as a social construct in terms of its effects being real, but there's not one gender that's better than the other. And I don't see how it helps you or helps anyone in any way to then say, well, actually, yeah, this disagreement, but also I have a completely different understanding of gender. And in fact, you can be any gender you want based on self-identity. I don't see how.
So yeah, but you're arguing you're a transphobe. You're making a prescriptive judgment right now. You're not just saying we need to understand gender, because I understand gender just fine. You're arguing that we need to prescriptively assign certain gender roles and expectations to fit with your social preferences. If you're arguing that we need to have an understanding of gender as it exists, then fine, of course I agree with that. I've never had any trouble whatsoever relating to people's gendered experiences. I mean, I went to school for that crap, kind of. But with regards to improving the social construct, you can only do that by challenging the way it exists now. TERFs do this the same way. When they do this, oh, well, we shouldn't have to wear makeup to be a woman. We shouldn't have to wear high heels to be a woman. Woman is not a performance. Woman is whatever. What they're doing is they're challenging an existing social construct and saying that their identity shouldn't be subject to rules and regulations placed on them by society. Everyone wants to change social constructs. You're arguing against the idea of improving society.
I think it's actually funny you mentioned prescriptivism, because I think that's exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about people wanting to change constructs that say, do this, you should behave this way, this is what you should be like. That's not what gender critical feminists are talking about. Gender critical feminists are talking about the only construct that they're talking about preserving is a construct which doesn't say, do this or act this way.
Are trans women women?
No.
Yeah, and quit dressing up with your language with academic speak. You're making prescriptive judgments.
And it's not a prescriptive. I'm not saying like don't do this thing. I'm saying you
you are. You're prescriptively saying we should identify, or we should have a form of gender. We should have a social construct of gender which prevents people from identifying as this or that. You're making a prescriptive judgment. The difference is mine helps people, yours hurts people. Quit dressing this up as though you're trying to just preserve in amber this academic understanding of gender that I am obfuscating with my changed definitions. I understand every conceivable social interaction that a TERF could possibly accuse me of not understanding. My question to you is, how does it make it better? How does it make the world better to say trans women are not women?
Well, first of all, I think truth is inherently valuable. And I think that having
it's a social construct, there's no inherent truth value.
Having a logical understanding, a helpful understanding of a social construct is good for the pursuit of truth. I think having one that makes sense. I don't think it makes sense to have a definition of a social construct which is completely foreign to the people who are an oppressive class, which is completely foreign to the history of that oppression.
Again,
and
right now
you're
just arguing against the idea of changing social constructs. People could have adapted your exact same arguments to keeping black women out of white women's spaces 60 years ago in the US. Everything you're saying right now, well, I'm not against black women. Actually, I just think we ought to recognize the fact that there are historical differences, and we should respect the logical fact that there are differences between these groups. Everything you're saying right now is just reappropriated language of bigotry that could have been used centuries ago between different groups. So I ask you again, because utility is what I am concerned with, and there is no truth value to appeal to here. It's all a matter of analysis. Why?
Well, first of all, I think that it's not the same as what you're describing. What would be the most obvious equivalent, and it's funny you bring up race, because what would be the most obvious equivalent is black women and white women are fundamentally, well, sorry, not fundamentally, are different in terms of what race they should be understood as, and that it's not about self-identity, that a white woman can't just identify as a black woman. What you're describing is instigating certain policies based on an understanding of gender, and particularly your example of keeping black women and white women in separate places. And of course, it could be black men and white men, just black people in general.
I'm just advocating for policies that make the world a better place. I can point to data to back up all of my prescriptions.
What you're describing is I'm not saying you're advocating for it. I'm saying what you're describing, you're accusing me, or you're suggesting that me saying gender exists and that it matters that we define it in a way that helps us to best understand the historical.
There is no lack of understanding, but this is the lie you keep falling back on. I don't lack any understanding. There is no scenario in which I, as a queer theorist or an intersectional feminist, could not form a decent explanation for or understanding of what's going on. This is the lie you keep falling back on. Why do we preserve bigotry? Well, because it helps us understand. But I understand everything, so you're left with naught but a defense of bigotry. So I ask you, why are trans women not women? Why should we not do this thing?
Well, because again, it does not help us to. And the thing is, okay, I want to clarify.
It helps trans women. It sure as shit helps them. Materially.
You can understand anything within your conception of gender as being entirely based on self-identity. The question is it useful in terms of making things simpler, making things clearer? Because as I see it,
whoa.
Queer theory.
Wait, you know what the simplest explanation for black crime in America is? That black people have lower IQs and have the warrior gene. That's the simplest explanation. Pardon me for not deferring to your anti-intellectual desire to just appease the simplest explanation for people who are looking to justify bigotry. I'm looking to make the world a better place.
Like the idea that trying to make things simple is inherently anti-intellectual is stupid. Like obviously, yes, you
deferring to simplicity is an inherent value as opposed to like justice or like making the world a better place is, yes, very silly.
But obviously, yes, simplicity should not come in place of things which help us understand the world. But ultimately, a simpler explanation is easier. It's one which makes it easier to have discourse. It's one which makes it easier to explain things.
I explain things just fine.
Queer theory doesn't explain anything.
Wait. You could say all this about race realism.
Why?
Because you could do the same. It's much easier to explain that black people and white people are just inherently more different. It's very easy to explain. It's very understandable.
When they go up against evidence?
That's what I'm asking you.
We don't.
Wait, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, but hold on. First of all, it's important to understand this is not an evidential question. You can't have evidence for what gender should mean. All you can do is look at the facts we have and ask, what explanation best helps us understand this thing?
No. Wait, stop deferring to the understanding. Okay. I understand. This is the lie. You keep repeating this. Well, I'm lacking something. I'm lacking some mote of understanding because I engage in queer theory. You realize my job on this channel is convincing people who disagree with me, right? It is literally my job to understand and disseminate information on these subjects. So your repeated insistence that we should discriminate against millions of people worldwide because it leads to an easier explanation is extremely unconvincing to me. You keep deferring back to this. Why should we do something which leads very heavily to the suicidality of a massive group of people? Why should we contradict the evidence and arguments made by virtually every reputable scientific and academic organization on the planet? Why should we spit in the faces of people who have been fighting for their civil rights for decades? Well, because it's simpler. Oh, it's easier. It's much easier to say, well, gender is your sex, rather than just saying gender is a matter of identity. Like, that's it. Like, that's your entire argument. It's just simpler. Like, it hurts your brain less. You need less wrinkles to process it. Like, is that it?
Well, again, I would clarify. Gender critical theory does not leave you with a simple understanding of gender. You still have a very complicated understanding of gender if you believe in gender critical. However, by having queer theory, it becomes needlessly complicated while explaining nothing, which is a bad theory. You know, if you have a theory for why we have the fossil record, and you say, "Oh, evolution, fine," but I've got a way more convoluted theory that it was put there by the devil because he wanted to play a joke. Well,
fossil records aren't a social construct.
The obvious response somebody's going to have is, yeah, and I'm not saying that the fossil records aren't the social construct. Evolution is a theory to explain the reality of the fossils.
There is no reality of gender.
Feminism is a theory that explains the reality of women's persecution, the patriarchy's attitude towards women
gender relations.
And in a similar way, gender is a social construct which helps us explain the reality of how people have been oppressed based on their gender. And the best way to understand it is to say, okay, you've got women who have been historically oppressed this way, and that's basically
it's not just women. It's men. Wait, it's men too.
And men, and also these people would fall into category women and men, gender non-conforming people. I would say.
All of which is affected by patriarchy. You're the one being reductive here. And there is no inherent truth to gender. There is an inherent truth to fossil records. You can carbon date. You can figure out this, that. You can identify some particular thing about this.
The point is, I'm saying that gender is the explanation for the inherent truth. There is an inherent truth to, and I don't want to go into this, but what happens to women?
Wait. But I understand that.
Yeah, and I'm saying that there is an inherent truth to what happens to women. There's an inherent truth.
Stop. Is gender real? Not just a social construct. Is gender real in a physical sense? If all of humanity were obliterated in some sort of plague, would gender still exist somewhere in the universe?
I mean, it's a pretty philosophical question. I mean, obviously,
without humans to consider it, would it exist?
No, not really. No.
Okay, so there's no inherent truth. There's no fundamental reality that we need to pay respect to. There is only the study of the interactions of different groups of people based on their gender and the relationships
Yes.
between gender.
And I think that
which
gender
I
critical theory
understand,
explains that a lot better.
but you keep saying it doesn't explains it better. But I understand everything you're talking about,
Yeah,
and
but
I
that's
can
the-
explain oppression that you can't
Okay,
for trans people.
but why can't I explain the oppression of trans people?
Okay, what
there's no-
experiences does a trans woman have, and in what way do they differ from those of a cis woman?
I'd imagine that trans people, well, it depends, obviously. What trans people mean can vary. I'd imagine that if we're talking about what we call kind of the most bona fide trans person, it would be gender dysphoria. You know, the feeling that they shouldn't be a man.
No, I mean,
That
their
they should be a
social
woman.
experiences.
Social experience, I mean, you know, obviously, if they kind of express their gender in a feminine way, they're going to be called all sorts of horrible things. If they really do believe they should be a woman, then they're going to feel upset when they're not allowed into
They do,
women's
by the way.
spaces. But I mean, there's no issue explaining that. The question is
And I've
just the
had no
solution
issue
there-
explaining anything that you're talking about.
Yeah, the point is that your explanations, queer theory doesn't help you with your explanations.
You keep
They just
you keep
complicate your
saying
explanations.
stop deferring. I can explain. There's nothing that I'm missing.
It
You keep
doesn't-
saying
I'm
you
not
keep saying this
you
like.
can't
well-
explain it. I'm
well,
saying
then-
it doesn't
then
help
you're-
you with your explanations.
What do you mean it doesn't help me with my
What I'm
explanations? What does
what
that
I'm
mean? This
saying
is the most
is
esoteric.
that
This is the weaseliest argument ever. You're literally standing on an argument that we should oppress millions of people. We should defy academic and social prescriptions. We should ignore the medical industry and what they prescribe. We should do things which we know demonstrably and measurably hurt a huge portion of our population because you're making some esoteric argument that maybe you don't understand quite as well or it doesn't explain. Well, I can explain and understand any reality of gender interaction, and I do it through queer theory. So obviously, that argument is not very helpful in explaining why we should oppress or contribute to the oppression of such a large group of people.
You say you do it through queer theory, but queer theory, it doesn't add anything. It just
You don't know
adds a
what queer
complicated-
theory is.
It adds a factor where, for example, somebody who is gender non-conforming, well, what would ordinarily be very easily understood is, well, if they're a man and they act like a woman, then they're going to receive oppression because of that, and that's pretty simple. But by adding this arbitrary idea of, oh wait, no, if they really feel like they're a woman, then they're really a woman, that doesn't add anything. It doesn't help
Yes,
anything.
it does.
Doesn't make things
It can
simpler.
change the way in which they experience their oppression. There's a
to-
huge difference between being a guy and dressing up as a woman and getting made fun of it, and being a woman and being made fun of for being a trans woman. The way you internalize that oppression is very different. In one case, you're just being made fun of superficially. You look silly, you're dressed up as a woman. If you're a trans woman, your very identity is being challenged. And that's a very substantive difference to the
I
experience
think
of the people receiving it. You're being pretty reductive, my dude. Maybe gender critical theory isn't helping you understand the world as well as you would like to.
I think that it's much better to understand the experience of so-called trans women in terms of being continuous with the experience of gender non-conforming men.
This is
I think that makes
this is so boring for me. Like,
When
you have
you-
no argument that I have any less explanatory value than you, and you're advocating for ignoring nuance, even though you came to me with the argument that I am the one bullying over nuance.
I don't think
Why
I've ever said anything equivalent
should
to advocating
we
for ignoring
not
nuance.
respect trans people? Stop with this. We've gone over this a dozen times now. This facile of academic pretense.
But so I mean, the problem is you want me to say what, like, oh, I hate trans people. Well,
No.
I don't.
I want you to explain to me why your bad arguments should allow millions to be oppressed. I want you to tell me why that's worth it.
Well, the simple reason is I don't think that the social utility of a theory is something that should be considered when talking about like analysis. When you're analyzing patriarchy,
When we're
you're
talking about
analyzing the oppression.
changing that social construct, that's what we do.
Yeah, but the difference is, and this is what you seem to not be getting, that gender is a social construct. Gender says nothing in itself as a social construct.
You're
of
doing
identity
it again.
about what a woman should be.
You're doing it again.
What a man or
Yeah, you
woman
are. You're
should
making
do.
the argument that it should not be a matter of identity. You're making a prescriptive judgment, as am I. I'm just not the one. I'm just not afraid of saying that I am.
The difference, the difference is we're talking about a prescriptive judgment in terms of how to communicate and how to talk. Like, for example, saying that
I don't. This is so
that
fucking
race-
boring to me. I
saying
don't.
that
I don't.
racism
Wait.
should mean
Why
a
should
particular thing.
millions of people be oppressed. What this sounds to me right now, I imagine from your perspective, is that I'm like triggered and I'm trying to get you to own up.
No,
But
no,
you
no,
really,
not at all. No,
you really
I
are
don't
like
think that.
disgusting to me. Like it's pretty like plain and obvious, I think, at least to the people in my audience, that you are unwilling to actually own up to the bigotry that you're advocating for. So you're continuing to repeat this pretense of an argument. This, well, it doesn't aid to understanding. First of all, social constructs get changed all the time. Feminists have been advocating for it for centuries now. When Wollstonecraft was arguing what womanhood was and what the relationship between man and woman was 200 years ago, she was arguing for a prescriptive change in the understanding of the social relations between men and women, as is what I am arguing for right now. I stand on the backs of every feminist TERFs lay claim to the accomplishments of. The difference is I understand what they were trying to do. So please, for the love of God, no more of this. It's inherently bad to try to change social constructs. No more of this. It hurts our understanding because it clearly doesn't. No more of this idea that queer theory doesn't explain gender nonconforming people. Somehow. Explain to me why, in my scale, where I measure your heart against that of a feather, why your concerns about the academic and explanatory viability of queer theory outweigh real material harm to millions. Please, that's what I am asking you. Why?
I don't see any reason why we need to change the definition of gender in order to make people happy. I mean, first of all, there are
we already been doing that. Feminists have been doing that for centuries.
No, what you're see, here's the thing, okay, when you're talking about these feminists doing this thing, you're talking about feminists saying, okay, people believe that gender should prescribe what people do, how people act, how people behave, and that's wrong. But I don't think you can lay any claim to the idea that
and also what gender is.
Also,
people used to believe the role of women was just to be barefoot and pregnant. You would pump 12 kids out of them by the time they were 30, and they thought it was a God-given necessity for them to do so, to propagate the kingdom. Our understanding of gender has changed. Not just what should women do, but also what gender is.
The issue is, I mean, you keep expressing what gender is in terms of what women were expected to do. I'm saying, like, if you're a man, you can do anything. If you're a woman, you can do anything. I'm not saying that we should focus on how
including
an
identify as what
should
you want.
behave. But I don't see the problem is you're acting as if in order for us to be progressive, we need to redefine social constructs in such a way that they no longer have
any. In the formation of this country, the United States of America, the only people who were considered full citizens were land-owning white men. The definition of a citizen had race baked into it. And we changed that definition. We didn't just say what a citizen and a non-citizen could do changed. We didn't just say, oh, black people aren't citizens, but you can do this and that. We fundamentally changed our understanding of a social construct because it made the world a better place, because it better appealed to our values of liberty, egalitarianism, and fraternity.
All right, so here's your issue. You're describing something where, being a citizen, that matters, because being a citizen means you are equal. It means you are respected by your government.
You're moving the goalpost again. No. You can still have a non-citizen be equal. You're moving the goalpost again.
And the point is, you're saying, though, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you are talking about something where our understanding of what it means to be a citizen has a very pronounced value attached to it.
And so does gender identity to trans people.
But, no,
and so does gender identity to trans people.
Your implication, what you're implying is that in some way,
how many non-citizens killed themselves because they weren't citizens? How many non-citizens in American history killed themselves because they weren't considered citizens?
I don't know.
Well, do you know how many trans people kill themselves because they feel society doesn't validate their gender identity? Clearly, it matters. You can't make the argument it doesn't matter because the data backs me up on that one. It does matter. We changed the definition of a social construct because it mattered to people.
Right. Basically, your whole thing is that you are acting as if it's crazy that I would want to define something in a way that helps to progress discourse and helps to.
No. We did this. You're not progressing discourse. TERFs don't progress discourse. They go online and they complain about trans women going into bathrooms. You're not progressing discourse. That's why you aren't in academia. That's why academic discourse of queer theory has completely precluded all of your bullshit ideas. You aren't advancing anything. You're concerned about trans women, okay? So quit backing up to that. We've already gone over that point. And now we address the fundamental argument that you have made. We have never before changed the definition of a social construct. Well, we have.
I didn't say that. I didn't say we've never changed the definition of social construct. What I'm talking about is you're describing times when society being bigoted attached certain things you could do to a social construct, and your only response to this was to say, well, citizen, imagine, but a citizen, that has a very specific value attached to it. And the point is, I would say
does
men
the
and
gender
women
identity of the
are
people
equal.
who identify
Men and
as it.
women are the same. I don't think that,
Not to people who are men or women. A lot of the people in my chat have been calling you she, her because of your androgynous presentation and hair. I don't know if that.
yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know if that particularly bothers you, but I know there are a lot of cisgender people who wouldn't particularly appreciate being misgendered either. It does matter to people. In fact, I would say most people care more about their gender identity being validated than they care about the right to vote. Whether or not you think that's a good or a bad thing is largely immaterial. Your denunciation of the importance of changing what it means to be a citizen is irrelevant because it hinges on the idea that people care more about the bounds of citizenry than they do about their identity. It's not true. So again, why should millions of people be oppressed? Please, come on, help me out here. We're talking about people dying. This is a large class of people whose needs are material and real. And all you have to defer to is the discourse. Well, we don't like changing the definition of constructs. We're the radical ones. We just want gender to stay the same as it is. Come on.
The funny thing about people saying that I'm a woman or whatever else is the issue there is precisely that it doesn't help to understand the relationship between genders. In other words, the fact that I have long hair has nothing to. Well, I think queer theory has plenty to say about gender and relationship between different genders.
Yeah, it does. But what does that have to do with queer theory? That was a complete pivot, by the way. So why?
Sorry,
Millions of people. Why? Material harm. This is, I argue with Nazis a lot, and at least they have the gall to explain to me why oppression is just. I've never argued with a Nazi, and they've just sat there and gone well, by preserving the older definitions of race relations, we have a better understanding of the relationship between different groups that have contributed. It's so fucking boring. Why can't you just stand by your bigotry? Are you proud of the things that you believe and the things that you do? Are you proud of the logical consequences of your beliefs? Okay, so
no,
you're okay with hurting
I'm not
people.
Proud of the consequences.
What is there but the consequences?
There's the fact that I feel like I can explain things better than you can.
You can't. What can you explain better than me?
I can explain the oppression of
how? In what way?
Gender non-conforming, because it's very obvious that the experience of me as a man being, misgendered on your chat, being attacked because I am in some way going outside of,
whoa.
My
they're not
typical gender
attacking.
expression.
Whoa, they're not attacking.
Well, fine. Okay, fine. I don't know. I'm not looking, so I don't know. But there's a continuous relationship between that, me as a man in some way presenting more feminine, and somebody who is so sure that they want to kind of be gender non-conforming.
Do you appreciate the supreme? Do you appreciate the supreme irony of you, a TERF, saying that your theory has more explanatory power than mine because my chat misgendered you? Can we if we can take a moment of silence to appreciate the sublime irony of that particular criticism on your end, I would really appreciate it.
Perfectly fine, because I think the relationship between me being misgendered as a man is continuous with if I were to, begin to.
There are women who look like you.
More yeah, there are. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. So what's the issue?
Well, the issue is that it doesn't help to understand.
We're not talking.
I, as a man,
what
have male privilege.
What does that have to do with anything? Why do you keep falling back to this?
Saying, people calling me a she/her is insinuating I'm a woman. Obviously,
people calling you she/her is because they don't know what your gender is by looking at you. It has nothing to do with a prescriptive understanding that queer theory would assign to your oppressive experiences. What experience of yours can I not explain?
People calling me she/her right now.
What experiences of yours can I not explain?
It's not so much. The thing is, you're individualizing it. It's holistic. It's
what?
The point
so what? We keep doing this. What can I not explain?
You can't explain the obvious fact that the relationship between there is a huge difference between somebody being misgendered because so a trans woman, a so-called trans woman, being called a man. And although that's a completely different, but being made fun of for presenting as a woman, and a gender non-conforming man being made fun of for presenting as a woman.
So wait,
those two things are very similar. Whereas by contrast,
There are
for example,
similarities and differences. You're the one bullying over
whereas-
nuance here.
and
We've
that's the whole
literally
thing.
been
And then
over this
on the
point.
complete opposite side of the spectrum, you have somebody who looks very authentically like a man.
We've been
who
over
identifies
this
as a woman.
point.
And according to you, the experience of a you are looking at two people. One is a
We've been
man
over this.
who is gender nonconforming, who is made fun of for being gender nonconforming. The other one is a so-called trans woman who is gender nonconforming.
We've been over
gender
this.
conforming, as you would define it, who is made fun of for being gender conforming. And then over here is somebody who looks exactly like a man in every single way, who also thinks that they're a woman, who says
We've
that
done
they're
this
a woman.
exact
And according
point.
to you, these two things are the same, more so than these two things, which I just think is ridiculous.
We've done this exact point. I've addressed this exact argument. This isn't a good argument,
must
and I
have
know
missed
because
it.
we addressed it.
I mean,
That's it.
I
So
don't
that's
think
it.
you
That's your
addressed anything.
argument for the suffering of millions of people and denying them the social legitimacy of their chosen identity. It's
I
that
think the
it's that
suffering
well,
of people
if
is
you take a
immaterial
gender non-conforming
to
person
defining a gender.
and a transgender, well, if you have these two people and they both look like men, but they're not really. Well, I think your theory explains this a little bit less. I can't explain how it explains it less, but like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
true-
kind of a slimy little weasel. Do you like you realize that this entire time I've been trying to talk about the actual material harm done and you refuse to because you know it makes you look bad?
It's not that. It's just that
No,
it's,
but
it's
I've
irrelevant.
asked you to like it is the most relevant possible thing.
It's not. I don't think that how people feel about the way gender is defined is relevant to the definition of gender. When talking about people's emotional
Social
reactions.
constructs are oriented around utility. That's what feminists have been doing for centuries.
Again, you keep talking about like social contract, not in terms of how things are defined, but in terms of like the things people are expected to do. Yes, feminism has changed. An
Okay,
understanding of
let me go
womanhood
over the
where
most
women are perceived in a
the
negative
strongest possible relationship, the best possible criticism. What is race?
What's race? Well, it's a social construct. It's one that broadly corresponds to ethnicity. Of course, it's defined in all sorts of ways by all sorts of people. I mean, some people say Jews are like white, other people wouldn't. Some people say Slavs, but race is a social construct that is used to kind of categorize people broadly according to ethnicity. And
Okay,
to
do you
some
think we
extent
should
culture.
change our understanding of race? Not just how races are treated, but what race is.
I think that there's certainly room to change it based on the fact that race has historically been so fluid. I don't think we should just throw it
Oh
all
my
out.
god!
I think
I
we should
can't
definitely
believe
keep
you
it
would
as is.
just. I can't believe you would just say that to me. Do you have any idea how fluid gender has been historically?
Well, I am aware that there are, places in India where they have this idea as like
No.
a
The
different
whole
kind of
world over, there have been radically different perceptions of what gender stems from, is, and means to different cultures and different points in time. But even with race, our current conception of race, social construct as it may be, is about 500 years old. It stemmed from the perception of scientific racism that dominated the academic space during the transatlantic slave trade, to give an empirical explanation for the apparent differences in different types of people. Now, as it turns out, that understanding of race is every bit as stupid and arbitrary as what Socrates thought when he argued that the hot, thin-blooded Middle Easterners contrasted with the thick-blooded Northerners, and that was what determined their predilections.
the fact that okay.
It's every bit as explanatory as that. So, most reasonable people agree that our medicalized scientific perception of racism is one which actually leads to less understanding, more harm, than one if we changed it. I am a racial abolitionist.
Yeah, well, I mean that's fine, but you're saying you're a racial abolitionist, but obviously we need to actually get to a point where the effects of race aren't felt. By just saying you're a racial abolitionist and expressing that as if it's something to do with definition, I don't think it should be to do with definitions at all. I think that abolishing race, abolishing gender, yes, we should do these things.
It does
we
do
should
with
do them
definition.
by
Wait.
acknowledging-
What do you think abolishing gender would do for trans people?
I don't know. I mean, abolishing gender, I would say that some of them. I mean, the things I don't think there's one kind of monolithic transgender view on it, but I would say in general it would mean that being transgender wouldn't exist. It wouldn't really be a thing you could do if you abolished.
So if
gender.
there was no gender, you realize that there would be people who look like me who would talk and present in ways we typically consider feminine.
That would be fine.
Okay.
Like yeah.
Okay.
No issue.
And there would also be people with medical dysphoria who would go to doctors, and the doctors would do some whatsits with their body to make their body look more the way they're interested in looking.
I think if we reached a point where gender was genuinely abolished, and I think we're only going to get there by having like a
By being
strong
turfs.
feminist discourse. By having a strong feminist discourse,
You
that's going
realize
to
you're
put
a
front
gender
and center the actual
essentialist.
oppression women have experienced.
How can
I
you
wouldn't say I'm a gender
possibly
essentialist.
believe your beliefs give greater explanatory value when you're a gender essentialist? You believe that gender and sex are inextricably linked, that a gender identity is predicated on your sexual biology, and now you're arguing that you want gender abolished? Do you have any idea how incongruent your political beliefs are?
Well, first of all, believing two things are incongruently linked. I can't remember what you said. I'm not very smart. Those two things are linked doesn't automatically make you an essentialist, because it's
You're an
for example,
essentialist. What makes a person a woman?
I believe that gender is what makes somebody a woman is a combination of biology, culture, and self-identity.
Wait, so what combination of culture and self-identity could make a person not a
all
woman
right.
if they were born with a
Okay,
pussy?
yeah, I'll
you're
do it,
you're
okay.
a Weasley little liar, buddy. You know you just think it's gender. Or you just think it's sex.
Just sex. Yeah. No. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay, because obviously the thing is, gender critical.
So how
feminists
can a
say
person with a
it's
penis
all-
be a woman?
It's all biology are wrong, because of course intersex people exist. Now the reality is that if you have, say, for example, a hermaphrodite, somebody who has both a penis and a vagina or whatever, then some cultures might say that person should be considered a woman. Some culture might say that person should be considered a man. Some culture might say that.
What can a person with a penis
nothing.
do to be a woman?
There is nothing. I don't think there is a thing you can do to become a woman.
Then
if you have a penis.
biology is. Then it's just biology. So I'll do the corollary. So what can a person with a vagina do to be a man?
Again, I don't think it's as simple as
So
that's
it's
something you can do.
biology. So you're a gender essentialist.
It's not, no, because it's not. That's not just saying.
Come on.
That having I mean, to be honest, I don't care. Like, if you could show that I was a biological essentialist, it wouldn't be like the end of the world. I'm just saying as a point of fact, because I care about explaining things, and I know that if
You
I
can't
said
be a gender
is
essentialist and
100%
want the abolition of
defined
gender.
by biology. If I say that gender is 100% defined by biology, then that's going to inhibit my ability to explain things. It's going to inhibit my ability to explain intersex.
That has been your explanation this entire time. Gender is congruent or it's contingent on sex. That's been your argument this entire time.
There is a very strong link between gender and biology. I'm not an essentialist because I wouldn't say that that biology is the only thing 100% of the time.
Then what else?
Gender.
What else?
Well, again, so in my case, there is no ambiguity to my biology. There's obviously some ambiguity to my presentation, but there's no ambiguity to my biology. So I would say culture and self-identity have nothing to do with it. But there are people who, and the thing is, you queer theorists do point this out, that there are people who have ambiguous biology. And I would say that in those cases,
have you taken hormone tests?
No, I don't know. And maybe
do you know what your
have
testosterone level? I know what my testosterone level is.
No.
Do you know for sure? Are you positive? I guarantee you that if you and I went through a level of tests together, I guarantee you, hey, listen, maybe you're a man compared to some of the girls that you know. I guarantee you that if you were put up against me, that pattern would repeat itself. How do you determine where the line is? Where exactly is the line on intersex people? What level of testosterone or estrogen? How congruent should their genitalia be?
That's why I'm not a biological essentialist.
You are.
Because biological essentialism means you have this line, and that's
If
stupid.
you believe a person with a penis can't be a woman, and you believe a person with a vagina can't be a man, then biology is essentially and essential to what you believe a person's gender is. How can you possibly make the argument that I lack explanatory utility with regards to my understanding of gender when you come here and how do I attack this? You're a you're a sexual gender essentialist, but you want gender abolitionism. You think it's okay to oppress millions of people and defy the prescriptions of the medical community because you believe that it gives better explanatory value to experiences. But then I ask you to explain how it does, and you can't. The one example you've given, the incongruity between a man who just presents as a woman and a man who identifies a woman, so a woman properly, you gave that and I answered it. So you don't have a difference in explanation possible, but you, with your gender critical theory, actually bowled over and sanded down an existing facet of nuance, which is that a man presenting as a woman and a man who identifies as a woman or a trans woman experience their oppression in different ways internally, which is essential to understanding the multiplicity of the patriarchy. When women are affected by the patriarchy, it's not just how they're treated. A man and a woman both being slut-shamed is not the same, not just because of their biology, but because of how they perceive it. I can understand that because my theory has a greater explanatory value than yours.
I never ever said that somebody who has gender dysphoria is not going to experience, being attacked for being gender nonconforming differently to somebody who does not have gender dysphoria. I think there's no reason why gender critical feminism can't explain that. I think, and I would say again that gender critical feminism explains better the fact that somebody having gender dysphoria who is attacked for presenting as a woman, assuming they're a man, obviously, assuming like that, assuming that they are male assigned at birth, somebody with gender dysphoria presenting as a woman is going to experience something much more similar to a man, a genuine man who also presents as a woman, than they are to somebody who is male assigned at birth, considers themselves a woman, but does nothing in any way to express as a woman. That person's the oppression that person.
There was nothing I didn't understand.
Yeah, I'm not saying, the thing is, you seem to think it's all about, can you understand something?
No, you think that. I think social constructs are about utility, and so does everybody else. I've never even argued with a TERF who made the arguments that you've made before. They make the arguments that the world is a better place if you don't treat trans women as women. You backed off that. You wouldn't even defend that argument. You're just defending this esoteric concept that there's an explanatory difference, which is, in addition to being wrong, deeply dishonest, because we both know you don't care about explanatory value. You care about your intuitive belief that trans women aren't women, and you... Well, I can't extrapolate your views any point beyond that.
Well, intuition is, I think, a fantastic benefit that gender critical theory does have. I think
wait. That is the perfect way to end this conversation. Okay, I agree. Cool. Intuition is on your side.
Thank you.
All right. Do you want to shout out your channel?
Yeah, sure. It's
All right. God, that was such a fucking weaselly little I will give credit where credit is due. I've never actually argued with a person who immediately retreated on the utility argument and then just made arguments on and then only made arguments on like the explanatory validity of... God, it's simpler, so... all right, let's go over that. Did I seem frustrated? I was frustrated, that discussion. I'll acknowledge that. I don't know if it was possible to avoid being frustrated. That person was insanely slippery. Yeah, every single time I was trying to hold to a point. Yeah. I've argued with TERFs before, and the thing is, I actually sympathize a little bit with TERFs who argue from utility, because there are people out there who legitimately believe that letting trans women into like women's bathrooms hurts those women. And those people are wrong, but at least it's possible those perspectives come from some legitimate concern. That's totally possible. But with this guy, does anyone ever make a decision on... Does anyone ever make a decision on the like what prescriptive judgments we should make based on the idea that it is simpler to explain things in a more harmful way? That is so strange to me. Haven't you debated him before? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that was really weird. At the end, intuition is in our favor. I don't know. Damn, God, that's so weird. Well, let me think. 2 minute improvement. 2 minute improvement. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he was just like arguing from feelings the whole time. I feel like that was pretty much all, right? They're probably watching right now. I mean, if they're watching right now, holy fuck, you were so frustrating to talk to. But you have to understand the sublime irony of somebody who calls themselves a radical feminist arguing against changing the meaning of a social construct. That is insane to me. What do you think feminists have been doing forever? What do you think they've been doing this entire time, you know? I don't know. Really weird. And then I made the citizenship argument, but he was arguing like, well, people care about being a citizen. Well, bitch, trans women care about being women. I don't know. So weird. Oh well. Bring on the scat fetishist. I don't think I have a debate with the scat fetishist lined up right now. We're gonna do a few donos, then we'll do Caitlin Bennett. God, you people are obsessive. Jesus, God Almighty. Access Audio with the very kind $25. As Michael Hudson puts it, most of the classical economists like Smith and Ricardo thought landlords and financiers were parasites on industry. Yeah, because they are. Everyone used to believe that. Reject modernity, return to antiquity. Embrace tradition, my friends. Back in the day. King Blunted, thank you very much for the $5.69. The Chaos Car with the $5, maybe. Ryan Cast, the $10. Dance Battle Nick videos, I would probably lose. Trop, I have not engaged with Adolf Reed yet at the moment, I am afraid. Is it the cat? I'm way too warm right now. Oh, thank God. Yes, please. Oh, you are a fucking lifesaver. It's like 90 degrees in here. Look, it's so warm, I actually got a fucking zit on my cheek. I wish I had makeup. Do you know how often I get acne? My skin is impeccable. I'm very frustrated right now. Yeah, I think that happened in real time, too. That argument gave me acne. Words of Pie, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Access Audio with a very kind $20. These classical economists also supported heavy taxes on unearned income and directing those taxes to things like rent control. Yep! I should go over like an Adam Smith stream one day. The Greedy Merc, I have talked to Destiny, don't you worry about that. Parkus Wallace, thank you very much for the $2. Thoughts on the fireworks? Kids are bored and they're having fun. Sel, thank you so much for the 10 plugs. Please do save up some money for a drawing tablet. Drawing is very fun. Tear Jerk with the tier 2 sub. Thoughts on gender abolitionism through creating so many labels and breaking so many rules that all words eventually become obsolete in regards to gender. I don't really favor that approach because I'm of the opinion that if we end up actually unironically having 72 genders, that those genders are going to form their own fucking hierarchies between them. True literally Hitler. Oh god, I'm so warm. Yeah, gender accelerationism. I feel like they would just start doing the same thing, you know what I mean? The Starkin, the Solaris, and the Demigender would all be fighting one another, you know? It would turn then the slave rings begin, you know? Billy Droko, thank you very much for the $5. What is this? Yes, very true. I need to go over consume products sometime soon. It's actually a perfect argument. Perfect argument in my favor. Hypermode Art with the $20. Got a friend to move from voting for Trump to voting for Joe Jorgensen thanks to your rhetorical tips. He ain't riding with Biden, but at least it ain't Trump. Hey, every step a journey, you know? Gotcha, Spring Bay. Rags to Radical, happy to have you here, comrade. Benjamin King with the 10 pounds. You donating to me is basically like donating to an OnlyFans. Oh, nice. Good luck, pessimist. Good luck. Geez, big loser. Apparently, iHypocrite wants to debate a person on whether or not I broke his ego. Yeesh. It never ever end. Thomas DePonte with a very kind $20. Vosh v Pac-Man, finally a worthy opponent. Our battle will be legendary. Pac-Man's actually like a super chill dude. I feel like arguing with him would be pretty pleasant. There, I've changed the title. Ziltoy, thanks to tier 1 sub. Very true, go away. And Robin Mercier, do I have any experience with exposure therapy for social anxiety? Rakabakar, no, I am not. It would be irresponsible of me to prescribe anything in that sense. Yes, Alexandra Iltanin, I did notice that when Destiny went on to the kill stream, they talked about me a lot. I wonder why. Got unironic Vosh brain. What are you going to do, huh? Let me go over a few more. Markinator, yes, I will be. Yeah, I think the people who say that Shu can never be redeemed are probably people who aren't very good leftists, you know? Sephiroth, you're free to send me an email, voshvid@gmail.com, but there's no guarantee I'll say yes. In fact, there's a near guarantee I'll say no. I've just been extremely busy lately, in general. Adeline, thank you very much for the $10. Very true. Breastiny. And yeah, I saw that Devonta Jones. It's pretty sick shit. It's true. Wiki. Hey, Hype, thank you for the $5. Maybe one day. Markinator, I do plan on playing The Last of Us soon. I gotta get a PS4 or something. Clairvoyance 31 sub, I just want to grill. Me too. Pro worker and propane baby. Thanks, the Chaos Guard. And David Squatch, the $5. Yeah, true. This Pope is from Latin America, right? Idalos with the very kind $10. Vosh, did you see Sam Cedar's brief segment on Rising /Crystal / Saga yesterday? It was pretty similar to your take. No, I didn't. I want to go over that with you guys, actually. It's supposed to be pretty good. Here, wait, we'll take a quick pause on the donations while we move on to Caitlin Bennett. But really quickly, I want to take a look at Sam Cedar. True. Hold on. God, I have so much respect for Sam Cedar. I know Sam Cedar is a dirty, dirty liberal. Listen, I know, I'm aware, I know, but Sam Cedar has so consistently had good takes, and he was so in it back during the anti-war movement with Iraq, you know? Hold on, let me see if I can find the, oh, and he's hot. Don't know how I feel about the mustache, but I still think he's hot. Hold on. Which one of these? Does anyone know which of these videos is the one? Is it actually the Paw Patrol one? You guys keep saying that. God, he interviewed AOC. You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you guys, okay? Fuck you, all right? I thought maybe we could look at a prominent... It's only in the VOD? Is it from today's stream from 56 minutes ago? It must be from the last stream. This one? They do the segments? They don't do the segments.
Don't catch coronavirus. Influence the most.
Yeah, we'll get her some merch.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
we'll
you
get it.
guys.
All right,
so
well
much.
done.
But I believe in my heart that the right wing
Whoa! There are people talking about me in the VOD. Hold on.
and the right
Alliances on a specific issue, but in terms of like broad philosophical principles to join up, because no, I mean, if you got a bill that you want passed,
right.
okay. But I'm not getting in league with people whose ideology ultimately leads to these type of things, and Tucker Carlson, whatnot. No, any more than I would with David Frum, because he's against Donald Trump.
Yes.
If he wants to say that Donald Trump is bad, great. And on that project, fine. But I'm not going to promote David Frum, because
it's my
next day
jams.
he's going to talk about how we should be attacking Iran. The next day he's going to be talking about immigrants. So I have that same attitude. I don't care. I don't care about, Tucker Carlson saying a couple of good things about economic populism any more than I care about David Frum saying something that we should get rid of Donald Trump.
And I'll take it a step further. The Hills.
I'll jerk off to the rest later. I just, God, I'm frustrated all the time, about like my perceived concerns about how the left is behaving, you know, how the left organizes itself, how the left allies. Maybe we could do a segment on that. I feel like this is already such a segment-heavy stream. I might not even get to the Trump stuff because you guys want Caitlin Bennett, but I want to call in. I do want to call into the Majority Report. I do. Coming soon from Vosh, Why I Left the Left. No! I am the only leftist. True. You need to stop condemning every leftist. Lamau, Kyle, and Sam are good boys. Wait, I'm not condemning Sam. I fucking love Sam Cedar. And I do think that Kyle Kalinske does a lot of good, but Kyle Kalinske, just blind populism, blind anti-establishmentarianism is not, it's not useful. It doesn't help, and it can lead to you helping people who are potentially far more dangerous than regular establishment conservatives. You know? I want to give you an example. You have to wait a second for Caitlin Bennett. I'm really sorry. Hold on. But you're going to like this. It's a subreddit called Consume Product. Have you heard of it? I'm serious. Have you heard of the subreddit Consume Product? I'm actually asking you. Have you heard of it? It's a rather popular subreddit. Now, if I asked you this question, what would you answer? Is anti-consumerism a left-wing value? Yes or no? Is anti-consumerism left-wing? You are all wrong. The aestheticization of one's life, the Spartan removal of oneself from material possessions, to define yourself through things other than your commodities, that is not intrinsically left-leaning. There are other political groups who are very anti-consumer, or consumerist, and I'd like to share some of that with you, if I may, right now. This is interesting. Stop indoctrinating children, says the person in a rainbow flag shirt backed up by all these corporations to a person just with 2 Bibles. What's the implication here? Is the implication, I'm just reading into this a little bit, that the queer person here is actually the person indoctrinating children with their queer propaganda? See, the Xbox logo's got the rainbow, you know, but here's just the chaste holy man. A little weird. Let's go to top. You know, let's just take the top post. I haven't preempted this in any way. Here we go. We've got the classic corporations are hypocrites. This looks pretty innocuous. Look, they're just making fun of people who just mindlessly consume Marvel movies. We all hate cape shit. Corporations are hypocrites. I mean, all this seems pretty regular, right? If you read these 3 top posts, please role play with me. If you just read these top posts, you would go like, "Oh, they're making fun of like blith consumerist culture." You know? And that would be and you'd go like, "Damn, wow, this must be a lefty sub." But if you just look at the actual regular on the ground posts, no, you can't say it's okay to be white. This is heckin' white supremacist hate speech arena. So here's defending, saying it's okay to be white. Here's from Consume Product, talking about how women are all sluts who ride the cock carousel. Burgers? No, I do not think I will. QTPOC stories. That's interesting. This image right here doesn't have anything to do with consumerism. This one is literally just about, hey, if you want to watch YouTube videos, what about one of these? To those of you who don't know, Burgers right up here is a reference to a Stone Toss comic, in which the neo-Nazi Stone Toss makes the argument that Jewish corporations are pushing cultural Marxist pro-race integration messaging in their advertisements that have nothing to do with the actual product. We can find it, actually. See? Pretty classic comic of his. Now, this is, at least if described reductively, an anti-consumerist comic. But what exactly are they taking issue with? What exactly is why are they upset with consumerism? Are they upset with consumerism because they don't like capitalism? Or are they upset with consumerism because the Bolshevik degenerates are pushing race mixing through their burger advertisements? That's my basic argument. And see, here's making fun of communists. I don't know what this has to do with consuming products. Got some Peppo posting, I mean, that could be pretty innocuous, I guess. Here's LGBTQ games. That's really interesting. They talk about being anti-consumerist, but all they seem to have an issue with is consumerism that's inclusive. Isn't that funny? Isn't that strange? Now, if I wanted to, I could go through more of that subreddit and I could find more damning evidence. In fact, that subreddit has posted pictures of me before just to make fun of me, calling me a Jew, calling me fat, what have you, so on and so forth. Completely impromptu. I mean, it was just like a picture of me. I wasn't like doing anything consumerist. I guess I was wearing a shirt. I mean, that's kind of a consumerist thing to do, So there is I think, perhaps an underlying political agenda to consume product. It is a Nazi subreddit. And do you know why this Nazi subreddit has been allowed to exist, despite how openly and brazenly Nazi it is? Because it dresses itself up as being about a set of values which some people mistake as being politically neutral or politically left-leaning. If that subreddit was just out and about openly, fuck Jewish involvement in media, fuck gay people involvement in media, if it was completely out and about, it probably would have been banned by now, or at the very least quarantined. But it hasn't been because Reddit is able to use their thin veil of justification, which is identical to the same arguments that lefties make when it comes to people like Tucker Carlson or, Jimmy Dore or Crystal Ball. Essentially, that we should be able to get along with them insofar as we have shared values or shared goals. But we do not have shared goals. Because to paraphrase a wonderful chatter here, some guy 54, the left criticizes woke corporations because we want them to do more, and the right criticizes them because they don't want them to do anything. So the criticism itself is almost irrelevant in the face of the judgment as to what should be done next. So this is my response. This is my argument. This is my condemnation. Do not work with right-leaning people. Do not say their takes are based. Do not say, oh, well, they got it right this time. When they say something is a problem, but they don't prescribe a solution. If Tucker Carlson did a segment where he said, we need to have Medicare for all and stronger unions, I would say that is pretty cool. If Tucker Carlson did a segment saying the workers need more power and also the elites in this country are killing our people, I would not, as they say, have to hand it to him because I have no fucking idea what solutions they would care to prescribe with regards to those problems. Can we say based when libs make a good take? As long as the take is good, sure. If a liberal says something that you agree with, as long as it is a solution, that is good. But there are so many problems that you can approach from different perspectives. And a lot of lefties seem to forget that. You people are insatiable. I hope you know that. If every criticism must come with a solution, does that not invalidate Marxism, which is a critique of capitalism? No, because Marxism doesn't just say there's something wrong with capitalism and leave it at that. The way in which it describes the problems with capitalism very clearly suggests that the issue is its subversion of democracy, of its economic contradictions, and of the harm it inflicts on people. In essence, the criticisms of capitalism levied by Marx necessarily contain within them the moral prescriptions that he is assigning, that people should be treated equally, that democracy is just and fair, that the world should be made more righteous and more equal, so on and so forth. But just saying consumerism is bad doesn't tell you fucking anything about what the moral prescriptions are. Saying the elites are bad, that doesn't tell you fucking anything. Everyone believes the elites are bad. Nazis think they're Jews. I think they're capitalists. Well, I know they're capitalists. You know, it's so on and so forth. In Shoan, yes, of course, as it is known. I promise you. So it'd be better if people said the elites are bad because? Yes, 100%, yes. Because then they would have to say why. Nazis couldn't say, well, and then you have to see where the ambiguity lies. Why are the elites bad? A Nazi could say, well, because they don't represent the people. But that could be them dog whistling, saying they don't represent the interests of the whites. What about them? They could say, you know, the elites are bad because they suppress the democratic, you know, nature of our country or something like that. That might be a little bit more. But Nazis don't like democracy. They don't care about the will of the people, really. They just care about, you know, having an authoritarian leader that supports their ideas. Tim Pool is melding? Oh no, not again. A white woman holding a sign that says fragile while screaming at a black woman how the black woman is racist is actually a great example of white fragility. All right. Oh, okay. The box literally just says fragile. It doesn't, it's not, it's the sign doesn't say fragile. The box says fragile. Okay, so that's different. So it's just a white person talking to a black cop? Is that it? Is that what we're talking about right now? Is that the whole, that's 5,000 likes? That's it? He says screaming at a black woman. Is there like a video of screaming? Watch the video, but there's no video. It's just a picture. Is there a video associated with this? I assume so. This level of artifacting is usually like from a video screenshot, not from a regular picture. We're doing a lot of Twitter diving today. Does anyone have the video? Does anyone know? Hold on. Where's the viewer counter? We hid it from you specifically to fuck you up. Get fucked. Probably in the thread. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking through the thread. No. I don't see it. Huh. Yeah, I don't see the video. I'm looking now through Tim Pool's tweet. Video here. That is not the video. So populism, anti-consumerism, and population control is right wing? No, it's wait. Who's talking about population control? That's kind of a weird thing to throw in there with populism and anti-consumerism. Not speaking to the population control thing. No, populism and anti-consumerism aren't right wing. They're politically neutral. They're just populist. They're not right or left wing. So I'm saying that agreeing with a populist because they're populist does not mean they agree with the left or that we have anything in common with them. Video? That's okay. All right, we're not going to find the video. You people are useless. Caitlin Bennett, let's go.
My name is Caitlin Bennett, and I'm
Okay. And I am stinky. Sorry. Now, I begin this video with a sense of maybe trepidation because Liberty Hangout is dying. Look at these video views. 19K, 56K, 50K, 56K. Even the BLM protests, Atlanta, 78K. This isn't a flex or anything like that, but like, that's less than what I've been getting for my daily uploads. Now, the reason this is funny to me is because the Liberty Hangout has experienced one of the most severe bubbles in popularity I have ever seen in my fucking life. I have never seen a bubble pop this hard. Just a big spike in attention, and then no. Now, it could end up that the attention peaks again. You know, that's entirely conceivable. They had like this big spike and things have leveled out significantly. But I think ultimately, and this is one of the lessons right-leaning creators are going to need to internalize, it's that conservatives don't actually give a fuck about any of you. When conservatives go online to take a look at their epic liberal dunkage shit or whatever, they really don't give a fuck about who's delivering that information to you. Because they have A, no standards, and B, you're all very unimpressive. You have to be, because if you were impressive people, you would be left-leaning. The funny thing about this is that now for all of their for all their bluster and relevance just a few months ago, they are just like another channel, and they are trying to diversify to, I assume, capture back a little bit of their previous success. We only have to go 4 months ago to find a video with nearly 1 million views, but hey, that's just how it works sometimes. Caitlin Bennett's biggest hits are her going to college campuses and acting like a fucking moron to college students, to 19-year-olds who still somehow know more than her. And you know what? God bless her. But, oh, look, here's Hunter Avalon. They put lipstick on him. Very nice. And now they're doing a little bit more. First of all, they can't do that because of coronavirus. So Caitlin Bennett's channel might, in part, coronavirus might have actually hurt Caitlin Bennett significantly more than it did the average political interlocutor, because now she can't go to college campuses and annoy people. So thank you, Comrade Corona. Thank you, President Xi, for airstriking America with your Corona missiles. Very nicely done, sir. So now they're doing now they're doing like, you know, basically just React Andy content. But when channels sync like this, they get a little bit desperate. And I came across this video, and this video is, I'm joking about the G stuff, obviously, don't clip me. This video is one of the saddest attempts at bait I have ever seen in my life.
Dear
Also, if the mic quality of this video triggers you, and it does me, you might want to back off for a few minutes.
Black Lives Matter, I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed to be white. I am not ashamed to be a conservative. I am not ashamed to support our president, and I am not ashamed to support our country.
So first of all, it is astonishing to me. It is astonishing to me how bad the mic quality is. I'm really sorry, guys. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't know why. They should have the money to fix that, okay? All right? Just get a Blue Yeti.
I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed to be a Christian. I am not.
Oh, by the way, this guy right here is their fiance, Caitlin Bennett. This is the person who runs the Twitter account. This is the person who posted Holocaust denialism on Twitter. These two are neo-Nazis. Oh my God!
I am not.
Oh, wow! I caught her during like her supernova phase. Jesus. Anyway, yeah. So Caitlin Bennett. I mean, is that a Nazi sign on a sweater? I don't know. Is it Pepe? I don't know. I don't know. Is that the Iron Cross? Kind of looks like it a little bit. I don't know. You know, maybe it's. Are you triggered right now? Are you triggered right now? No, it's not the Iron Cross. But I mean, it's, you know, this guy did engage in Holocaust denialism. He's posted like meme images of like Trump's America with swastikas everywhere. Yeah, it's just It's the Templar cross, I think. Well, here's the cool thing. The point of a dog whistle is ambiguity. It's the flag of Jerusalem, it's a dog whistle. Yeah, it fits about right. Can we just pay attention?
To believe in traditional marriage. And I am not ashamed to believe God made men to be men and women to be women.
I will not apologize for the color of my skin. I refuse to feel guilty for things I have never done. I refuse to be told that I need to feel sorry for crimes that I have not committed. I have done nothing to you and have nothing to be sorry for.
Now, I want to say, because I do feel a sort of moral obligation to respond to this, it's really funny to me how these far-right people will, wow, she looks really dumb in this still frame. It is very funny to me how these far-right types will, anytime they feel threatened, they go to the exact same set of talking points, you know? People are protesting against racism. I am not afraid to be white! Or ashamed to be white. Or I guess they are kind of afraid to be white because these people probably think the black mob is going to come and lynch them the next day, but ashamed, you know? You know, people talk about reforming the police, you know, like, I am not ashamed of being a Christian! They don't respond to the actual issue, but the implicit suggestion, the implication is that by protesting against racism, you are threatening their white Christian whatever identity. And this is why it's so funny to me when people like this call us snowflakes. These people have the biggest victim complexes I have ever seen of any political group in my entire life. Every single time any human attempts to make society better in any way, they take to fucking Twitter and scream about how the time for the race war has come and about how we cannot allow the Western identity to sail silently into the night. Every single anything happens. A statue of Christopher Columbus has fallen. Which way, Western man? Barbarism and pegging or glorious Western civilization? Like it's the most... the fragility is insane. Like, I just want to go through this because of how sad it is. This is an attempted bait, is what this is. People like Caitlin Bennett want lefties to watch this and say, you should be ashamed of being white. You should be ashamed for who you are. But we're not taking the bait. We're not taking it. It's not happening. You're not oppressed, my dude. You're just a bad YouTuber. That's it. To be fair, Vosh, you're kind of taking the bait. I'm not taking the bait. I think their video's stupid, but I'm not going to reaffirm their perceived prejudice by playing into this idea that Caitlyn Bennett is a fucking oppressed minority because people are protesting against police brutality. Now, she should feel ashamed for being a Trump supporter and for being a neo-Nazi, but I mean, she could change that if she really wants to. Let's see how bad it gets.
I will not virtue signal to you.
Come on.
And I will not sympathize with you. I am Caitlyn Bennett,
Oh,
and I am
shit.
only responsible for my own actions.
Oh, shit.
I will not apologize for believing.
Why does he look like he's been crying? A little weird.
In Jesus Christ. I will not apologize for calling him my Lord. I believe that Jesus suffered for our sake so that we may have life. I am nothing without the Holy Trinity, and the only one I will apologize to is the Lord for my sins. I will not sympathize with your hatred of God and will instead pray for your soul.
You know, I think a lot of people ignore the fact that religiosity is actually tied pretty heavily to a lot of these like far right perspectives. You know, if you take a look at this, actually Nick Fuentes does the same thing. He'll be like, nice, but unlike you degenerates, I do take my word of morals from the holy book, and you're just a bunch of lost sinners, sodomites, degenerates, transsexuals, raping each other. It's pretty sad. That's like the Nick Fuentes bend, you know what I mean? Religion is fundamentally reactionary. Nobody can convince me otherwise. If a person can be convinced of something irrationally and you accept that socially, then you can take that as far as you want to, you know? You can run that down as far as you want to. And frankly, the idea of arguing with Christian Nazis over whether or not Jesus Christ would have supported the camps just doesn't sound particularly interesting to me. But Jesus was trans.
Will not apologize for being a conservative. I will not
Throw that. God, this is so pandering. Throw the Patreon up 1 minute and 30 seconds into a video where they're just saying, I'm not ashamed to be white. Please. How's the Patreon doing? $813 patrons. All right. Maybe that's enough to finance their entire operation. The gun strategically hiding any poop stains on the back of the dress.
apologize for supporting the nuclear family, for supporting traditional gender roles, and for supporting Western values.
Wasn't that much higher earlier? I mean, it's kind of hard to create like a direct parallel, but you know, there are bigger fish.
I will not apologize for supporting free speech, the free market, and the right to self-defense.
Free speech, free market. These people, just so you guys know, these people have been tweeting about revoking free speech, establishing a monarchy, arresting people who burn the flag, and taking away the right to vote from minorities and women. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't know about that one.
You want to take these things away from me, and therefore I feel no sympathy towards you.
Persecution complex.
I believe in freedom and have nothing to feel sorry for.
I will not apologize for believing a marriage is between one man and one woman.
Wait, you've already said that. Wait, we're 2 minutes into the video. Wait, we're 2 minutes in.
I believe that raising children is necessary for passing down the truth to future generations.
What?
And they need to be raised by a mother and a father to do so.
But you already said
I will
this.
not sympathize with your hatred for the nuclear family and do not feel sorry for entering into a loving marriage with my wife.
I will not apologize for supporting my president. I voted for
You already
Donald
did
Trump
that.
in 2016.
I'm sorry, is the rest of the video just them repeating this? Let's see. Will not apologize. Okay, so I voted for Trump. I love my country. I won't apologize for believing it. Now he's saying that he won't apologize for attending church. I won't apologize for proudly standing up, starting the website Liberty Hangout TV. Good luck, guys. so I can freely speak my opinions without having been censored. I will not apologize for standing up for Jesus Christ and will not apologize for starting this website. This is so sad. Can you imagine if I did this? Like, I will not apologize for adding a tier 5 subscription to my channel. You will not make me ashamed of my $99.99 a month tier 5 subscription with a deep purple color and exclusive emotes. You can't take this from me. Like fuck. What am I supposed to make fun of? This should be funny to anyone watching this. Like inherently. Like, you don't have to be a leftist to find this funny.
libertyhangout.tv so that I can freely speak the gospel without having to feel persecuted by you.
I will not apologize for loving the United States of America.
You already did
founded
that
on the
one.
greatest happiness. Your hatred for our country.
For believing that God made men and women as they are.
You literally, not only have you made that point, you have made that sentence. That's the same Did this video need to be 6 minutes and 44 seconds long? I feel like if I was doing my little, like, fucking Victim Andy shit right here, I'm pretty sure I could come up with more than 5 points. Yeah, I gotta get that ad money. Yes, I will not apologize. We all have different roles. I will not sympathize with your lies. Oh, we got a race thing.
Of all colors, and do not need to go out of my way to give into your lies to prove it. I am not a hateful person, but do not need to give into your demands in order to show it. Nothing I say will change your mind, and I simply don't care. I know what I am and don't need to lie about what I believe in order. Notice how she's being a little bit abstract in the concept of race. I love people of all colors, and I'm not going to say anything more about that. In order to gain approval from you.
I love people of all beliefs and all backgrounds, and do not need to abandon my own beliefs to prove it. It is the greatest.
Yeah, God.
Caitlin Bennett. I'm Caitlin Bennett.
Whoa! I thought this was a channel of God. Wait, can I slut shame? Is that not unironically like too much Wait, I'm sorry, hold on. If you value traditional gender relationships, you can't have your tits out. Sin! Sin! You're sinning right now. You do that a lot, Caitlin Bennett. I noticed that in a lot of your high view videos, you've got your cleavage hanging out. I am positive that old-timey traditional gender relationships, the nuclear family is you. Wait, I'm sorry, hold on. Let me take a look. 1950s woman. That's what you're all about, right? Caitlin Bennett. Caitlin Bennett. I am not seeing cleavage. These tasteful young women were always careful to make sure their neckline not descend low enough that they expose their cleavage. Caitlin Bennett. So sorry to see that even you have succumbed to the degeneracy and the faithlessness of modern times.
Uncensored. Not only will you get to watch this.
And it's another plug for Liberty Hangout TV.
America.
Wait, oh my God. They're doing a panning shot of the website, again, with titties, but they literally just took a picture of a computer screen. Look.
For America.
Look, they just took a picture. Look. They literally manually adjusted the focus of a camera. Titties! Caitlin Bennett, you... As a good Christian, I'm not going to say any more. Yeah, they just took a video of a computer screen. These boobies are for your husband and your husband only, Caitlin. I thought you knew that. All right. Okay. Sorry. I'm a very faithful person. I'm sorry. I'm just, I have to, I'm averting my eyes. Sorry. I have, I already have the love of my life. I don't need to look at this, this slut. No, but seriously, I know this is kind of an old hat opinion here, but for God's sake, like, is it not incredible how effortlessly the hypocrisy of these people shines through. Whatever. Caitlyn Bennett is a lol cow anyway. She's been perpetually embarrassing for her entire career, which is nice for us. But, yeah. You should do the Kyle Kalinske video. I've got to catch up on donos. In fairness, didn't you once say that religion is a very minor factor with respect to people's life decisions? I think that religion gives cover to irrational behavior, but very often that irrational behavior would manifest anyway. It's just difficult to argue people out of that behavior if they have religion as a cover. If you literally believe that your eternal soul hinges on your willingness to conform to a set of values which involve oppressing women or gay people or whatever, it is pretty difficult to pull people off from that, you know? Can you talk about Calvin Guerra? All I can talk about right now are my donations. And hey, I notice a lot of you responded pretty positively to the idea of a Tier 5 subscription. Well, let me tell you folks, hey, with a modular website such as mine, nothing is impossible. Let me know in the comments, likes, subscriptions, donations, rewards, Twitter follows, if you would like Tier 5 sub. Don't. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. No. Absolutely not. No. No. Because I know some of you would do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No. No. I'm not doing it. No. No. James Michaelis, I'm very sorry I'm not good at book recommendations. Henry Wiley with a very kind 28 Canadian. Thank you very much for the cute sticker, comrade. I love you too. Robin, it is a cute kitty. The Chaos card with the $5. 8 out of 11 Bernie's endorsed candidates in New York won, including some DSA candidates. Yes! Guys, yesterday for us lefties was our Super Tuesday. It was the Super Tuesday that we needed. For real, though. For fucking real. We had a large number of progressive candidates get in through their primaries in solidly blue districts, so they're going to win their actual election against the Republican candidate. We had some real progressive wins. We're doing it, guys. We are pushing the Democratic Party leftward. We're fucking doing it. I legit cried listening to Charles Booker. Yeah, Charles Booker is a fucking hero. Wait, how's that thing going? Aren't they waiting for like a week? Charles Booker election results. Aren't we waiting on that? It's like another week. Kentucky Senate Democratic primary between McGrath and Booker to decide who challenges McConnell. We need Booker. We need Booker to challenge McConnell. Imagine getting McConnell out. Holy fuck. McConnell, the fucking arbiter of Senate gridlock. If this is close to being true, it looks really good for Booker. This is too hopeful. I can't believe this. This is too optimistic. I can't let myself believe. I can't let myself believe they're up 82 to 16% off their own internal poll. That's way too far. I can't. The hope pill is too big and too rough for me to swallow. I'm so sorry, guys. This is what we're looking at currently. I mean, the Times thing is blocking me, but from what I can see right now, it's 44% to 37%, basically, in favor of McGrath, not Booker. But apparently, McConnell shut down a fuck ton of the polling places, like 90% of the polling places in Kentucky, meaning that there's a lot of disenfranchisement going on, and there's like a judge ruling 95%. 95%! Can you imagine another country where a government actor took down 95% of the voting booths? There are videos of people pounding on the glass of these stations saying, "Let me in, let me vote." Jefferson County, one polling place for over 500,000 people. Let me in. Yeah, we'll be waiting until the 30th, yeah. I need to be clear with you guys. The Democratic Party sucks. The Republican Party is the greatest threat to worldwide democracy in all of human history. There's a term called forbearance. Who's heard of forbearance? None of you have. I'm the smartest person alive. Forbearance is the democratic idea that if a party is in office, they will not use their power to disrupt the balance of the next election. Democrats have forbearance. When Democrats are in office, they don't go about gerrymandering. They don't go about shutting down polling places in historically Republican areas. They don't go about disenfranchising people by requiring voter IDs or restricting types of voting that are typically done by white people or by Republicans. Republicans, every time they get a chance, will do everything in their power to obliterate. Yes, I know they do gerrymander. I'm saying that by comparison, please. To obliterate the capacity for a fair election the next time around. If there were truly fair elections in this country, there would be never again a Republican president. And I do sincerely mean that. And then we would have a one-party democracy, and then you know what? Then we could fix the Democratic Party. No, actually, that'd be really bad. If the Republicans were no longer a threat to the Democrats, that would mean the Democrats would no longer have to appeal to any group to win, which would be difficult for us. They would just rely on their corporate donors. Yeah. There's no happy ending, folks, but the Republicans are definitely the worser of two evils. Hold on. Munchkins, I'm glad you like the Arch Warhammer videos, because I sure as shit hated them. Dazelle with a very kind tier 4 sub. Getting a sub for my birthday, wowie. Fuck yeah. Happy fucking birthday, comrade. I really appreciate that. Divergence with the tier 4 sub. Was he always like this? He seemed pretty liberal during his Vice days. I assume you're referring to Sam Cedar. Nah, Sam Cedar has always been a pretty, like, left-leaning, like, pro-union kind of Democrat, you know? Is he a full-on socialist? I don't think so. But, man, he is a good fucking guy. Nerdgerm, thank you very much for the 2 separate donations of $2. Nigel Farage, the £5. Nerdgerm stole my joke when I said he looked like a human Squidward. Yeah, Nerdgerm did indeed say that. The turf, they mean. HTTP Lovecraft with a very kind $20. Wish I could use my mom's credit card to donate like that Ack hat. What did you do to get the stream working? Oh, I just waited. Yeah, I'm going to get network monitoring software. It might just be Comcast. It's been a little wonky lately. True, Fatboy6, man. Sorry, I've just been so busy. Oatpunk, the tier 2 sub, thank you. Henry Wiley with the 7 Canadian, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you, I'm glad you enjoy my content. Doc Hogan with the incredibly kind $50. I'm in the Minnesota Army National Guard, and I was on the ground in Minneapolis, if you ever want to chat about what I saw. First of all, thank you so much for the dono. Second of all, I can't promise anything, unfortunately, because my schedule is an ongoing nightmare. But you should email me. You should email me. voshvid@gmail.com. I'll take a peek. MD Pagando with the tier 2 sub. Thank you very much. And that is true. Down ballot voting sure as fuck does work. We aren't going to get any of these cool progressive Democrats into Congress and Senate unless we actually show up and vote down ballot. That's true, AT5D2D, Derek. The idea of linguistic prescriptivism is pretty common to TERFs as well. It's a very conservative view. True, British people are not real, Eggycore. Yeah, Epic Gamer, Coomcast has been pretty bad lately. Zonia with the $20. Toss some bandwidth to your stream war, oh laggy viewers aplenty. Yeah, I try my best. Marcus Seren with the 119 kronar, thank you. You said something once about trans women having a delayed adolescence, and this was the reason for the whole nya catgirl thing. What do you mean by this? Well, a large part of how we experience our gender and grow into a sort of comfortable role in our gender is shaped by our, like, high school experience, basically. Think of everything you are today. Think of how you interact with people, how you treat yourself, how you care about yourself. A lot of that was kind of shaped by high school experiences. If you transition after high school, if you become a trans woman after high school, then you missed out on a lot of really, like, important formative shit, you know? And if you transition then, there's this impetus to kind of re-experience this awkward growth period. That is one of the reasons why trans girls online are insanely fucking cringy so often. Which they are, and you all know it's true. It's because they're going through puberty too. And it's not just a social phenomena, it's also a physical, because when you take those hormones, you literally go through those experiences again on an emotional level. I imagine taking estrogen is pretty hell on your body. And the same applies to trans men, by the way. There was a really, 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 really great episode that I couldn't watch because it was so cringy of Queer Eye, where there was a trans dude who got a house everything makeover or whatever, and this trans guy was, I think, like 30 or something, and his house looked like this dorm room, and he basically looked like every like obnoxious like high school guy I've ever like see, like if you picture in your mind like the aesthetic of an uncoordinated high school boy, and you have it, you know. And they talked about it a little bit in that episode. Yeah, anyway, it's called Queer Time, and it's a piece of queer history. Well, there you go. I mean, yeah. But anyway, it's a real thing, and mind you, I have nothing but sympathy for people who are going through that. If you're trans and you're cringy as shit, I want you to know I stand with you. I say this. Cringe is an inimicable component of the human experience. It is inherent to our being. And whether that cringe come in the form of you watching My Little Pony even though you're in your 20s, or that cringe come in the form of you playing with action figures, except the action figures are $90 at Games Workshop and you have to assemble and paint them yourselves. Whether the cringe come for being a trans dude who's still not fully comfortable in the presentation of his identity, or from you being a cis dude who's cringy because you fucking suck and you never learned how to interact with women, I stand with you. My limitless compassion and sympathy are, well, limitless. Let's finish these donos, huh? We're all cringe down here. Makeshift altruist, Kernix, Sneaky Waikiki, and Arcelia, thank you so goddamn much with the $5. Yeah, that intuition comment is pretty fucking bad. Why are TERFs always denying science? That TERF I talked to didn't even argue about science. Like, that TERF was literally their entire argument for the suppression of millions of people, of leading people towards suicide, is because they thought that you get more explanatory value from gender critical theory than you do queer theory, except he couldn't think of a single example of that being the case, and I could think of an example where his reductive analysis was leaving out nuance through gender critical theory. That's why queer theory is uniform in academia, and critical theory is nowhere in academia. It's, yeah. Thank you, Hyena. Yeah, true, Jade Monkey. Feels over reels. None of the fun with the tier 3 sub. Thank you, Hubba Bubba indeed. Makeshift altruist, the $5 really appreciated. Do you think adultery and the institution of marriage be outlawed? What? Fuck no. I mean, if you like cheat on your partner, that sucks, but I don't think the state should get involved in that. Fuck that. A flat cap with the $10. Thank you. My favorite part was he said intersectionality is completely foreign to the idea of women as an oppressed class, calling cis women dumb and erasing their theories. It was so stupid. It was like, but it was the perfect example of somebody donning the facade of academia, you know, like to excuse their terrible fucking beliefs. Al Feathers and Soothing Glow, thank you very much for the tier 1 subs. Male TERFs are betas? Very true. Hey, everything that reactionaries say about male feminists, I say about male TERFs, but 10 times over, okay? Very true, Sai. Thanks to the $2. Parker Wallace with the $5. Very possible. I'm glad there are no fireworks in my city. Weasley Liar with the $10. Hey, Vosh, can you talk about how monogamy is damaging? I have before. I feel like I'd be going over it a little bit too much. Possibly. I mean, I don't know. People should do what makes them happy. That's my argument. Crystal Ball is the union scab of the left. True, Bonnie Fulveri. Very true. Koshka Leninishtka, the 690. Vosh, you should run for office at some point. Nope, I am unelectable. I would start saying slurs up there on stage. I have no self-control. It would be very funny. No. Yes, monogamy isn't bad. Compulsory monogamy is bad. Thank you. Can you imagine if I was running against somebody like Elizabeth Warren for any office, just like an older woman with like a progressive liberal bent or something like that? This femoid standing next to you has deceived you with her feminine flauntations and her delectable pronounced boobies. But I come to you with truth undistilled by the sexual appeal that I am trying to mislead you with. You know, like, no, it's okay. Bob Loblong, I will remember you fondly, comrade. Thank you. Take back the F word to describe fascists. They use a bunch of sticks in their logo. Maybe. I mean, I say faggot anyway, because I'm a faggot, so. Thank you, Golden Gladiator, for the emote money. Very true, Billy Drillkill. Fuck Christianity, that barbaric cult. Hill Tribe, very true. I will not apologize for shitting my pants. True. I left the Gen Z Anarchist Discord as I was about to be banned for defending your slur usage. I saw some relevant questions, but not a single argument. Yeah, defending me online is generally not a good idea. There are a lot of people who get really upset just at my existence. I will not apologize. I am not ashamed to be Vosh. I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed. And you know, I'm not ashamed to be white. That's the real meme right there. I'm not ashamed to be white. That is technically true. I do stand by that. But nobody's ever shamed me for being white. You know, I've interacted with a lot of crazy SJW types. I have never been asked to apologize for being white or for being a man or for being cis. It's never happened. I've never been asked to apologize, and I've never apologized. I've never done it. It's so weird, you know? Yeah. Thank you, the Jethar. Color at the €5. Thank you. Thank you for not being a moocher, my friend. Really appreciate it. Hidden Spices with the $10. Friendly Geordies on stream, or I'll bang. I'll consider it, Hidden Spices. Thank you for your well-meted request. Socialism may not be right, but their criticisms of the system are better than anyone else. That's true, Dave Squatch. Just because we don't need to work with right-leaning people who agree with some of the problems we share with them doesn't mean we can't convince dumb fuck centrists into agreeing with us because we agree on shared problems. Hey, whatever works, okay? Darwinian Realism, did your $20 donor get lost? If that's the case, I'm very sorry. The API is a little bit frenetic. Hanafia with the $10. All trans women are cringy except me, the one and only non-cringy trans girl. True, and congratulations. Enjoy all the dick you're going to get for your pick-meing or whatever you're into. I don't care. Shrek's MLG Christmas with the $10. I would get a tier 5 sub, but only if it allowed me to ban whatever white name I wanted. Ooh, hold on there. Tier 5 sub is purple. Tier 6 sub, $200 a month, just gives you moderation privileges over the white names. I'll consider it. Okay, hold on. All right, I'll give it a thought. Hold on. Thank you, Parker Wallace. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Bass Elliott. I agree with that. I think we need to get more people involved in local politics. And yeah, of course, James. I pronounce every name right. I've never mispronounced a dono's name. Daniel Rathbun, thanks you very much for the $5. I am trying my best out here. All right, we are unfortunately ending a little bit early, but I want to get this done quickly because I have like 5 segments I need to do. Please make a TikTok that is a parody of I am not ashamed, but say faggot, commie, weeb, and soy boy. I don't think I can say faggot on TikTok. Can you say faggot on TikTok? I don't think you can. I feel like that'd get yeeted. Here, wait. I'll do you one better. You guys want a TikTok You guys want a TikTok segment? Is that what you want? All right, we'll do it. Hey, you know what? Here's the truth, folks. I am not ashamed to be white. Nobody has ever made me feel ashamed of being white. So it's not that relevant, but I'm not. It's true. I am not ashamed to be gay. People have tried to make fun of me for being interested in men. So, I mean, that is an affirmation. That's true. And I am not ashamed of being a man, which is really easy because nobody has ever made me apologize once for being a man. It's so cringy. I hang out with so many SJW types, all these conservatives. They're always saying like, I'm not ashamed to be white. I'm not ashamed to be a Christian. I'm not ashamed to be a man. I'm not ashamed to be straight. Dude, nobody's a fucking problem. Get the chip off your shoulder. You've got an entire tortilla chip laying on your shoulder, a restaurant-sized one with salsa on it. You got to calm down, okay? It's all right. I love white people. I love white people, all right? We all do over here in the Vosh channel, okay? Chill out. There we go. That's my TikTok segment. Is that too long? I think that was about a minute. I was trying to... TikTok's supposed to be punchy and quick. I just do the stream segment shortening. Just shut up, okay? Stop! How do you discuss gender abolition without invalidating trans people? Easy. Why do we want to get rid of gender? Because gender hurts people, gives people expectations and roles that they might not be comfortable with. Who is most hurt by the existence of gender roles? Trans people. So if your version of gender abolitionism means telling trans people, ew, you want to wear a dress to be more woman? That's very gendered. Why can't you just be a feminine man? Probably isn't the best iteration of gender abolitionism. Maybe, in fact, what I'm actually doing there is a form of gender essentialism. By consigning all of the characteristics associated with gender to sex, I am engaging in the highest level of essentialism. Abolitionism is the recognition that people are free to dress, perform however they want, and should be free from roles associated with those performances. But on the way to doing that, the best thing we can do is not give people a hard time about their fucking gender identity. Easy. I've heard some trans people say they find some sense in belonging in existing gender roles. Yeah, only because it's a respite from them being addressed as the wrong gender for their entire lives. No trans woman in a genderless... there would never be, in a genderless society, no person who was born with a penis who wanted to wear a dress would think, I sure do wish there was a giant global social construct that would tell me this is the right thing for me to dress in. That would never happen. The reason why many trans people today take comfort in the existence of roles is because A, they fit within those roles, and B, because it gives them a sense of validation as opposed to the roles that they were originally assigned. i.e., I take comfort in the feminine roles I'm assigned because at least it's not the male roles I was assigned before. But in the absence of any roles whatsoever, I don't think people would want to invent them for themselves. I think that would be, I think that would be generally undesirable. Don't say you can only wear a dress as a trans woman or a cis woman. When did I ever say that? Can you talk about trans men more, Vosh? We're basically invisible in all discussions. Yeah, you know what? Here's my promise. Because it's true, trans men are so invisible online. From now on, trans women don't exist. I'm sorry, Lilith Lovett. I'm very sorry. Nobody exists but trans men, okay? There is only one gender, and it is men. And of them, the only valid ones are the trans men. There we go. So now we are whiplashing all the way over to the other side. And from now on, when I do trans allegories, we'll use trans men, okay? We'll try to more often, okay? Yeah, it's true. Trans men are the only gender. I am a degenerate. It's true. Very sorry. I'm sorry. I will not apologize for being cisgender. I was born in the wrong body. Okay. I feel like I can be canceled for making jokes Contra would make. All right, listen. I love you all very much. Y'all beautiful people. Okay? Phenomenal. Amazing. Don't we always enter? I'm gonna head get some food. I love you. Peace out. Be well.